Hello everyone, and excuse us for the little delay. We had to sync up our streams so we can actually cast together. I'm Yulwei, your usual caster for VCS, and today I'm joined by my co-caster from now on every day.
G'day everyone, how are we?
Yeah, we are finally starting the VCS after a 1 week delay, and we're jumping right into picks and bans. No pre-show from the VCS side, so we get to start right on time. First two bans on EVOS side are a bit curious to me. What do you think of these two bands on blue side?
I like the Gragas ban. I think it shuts down the Gragas Yasuo immediately. Though again, because that's such a strong first pick for the red side. Just immediately picking Gragas Yasuo. Morgana though, that's the really interesting one.
Yeah, and we're playing on
That's really
9.12. 9.12
mm,
actually coming in for VCS. I was not sure if we would see 9.11 or 9.12. So no Silas. Silas is finally gone.
yeah. Get the crab rave out. Silas is gone. Couldn't be more excited. I like Silas, but he's been at the top for too long. And
Yeah,
this hover by FTV, I think is going to be something we see a lot.
yeah.
I think Karma is ridiculous.
But
The
I
Nico pick is interesting, but
I like the Linko first pick. I think she's a bit undervalued in some regions. She is so flexible, can play top, mid, and bot, and can play AD or AP. Though AP is her better suit right now, so I like the very flexible first pick choice. But Yumi is also still open, so we could see Yumi picked up on FTV side paired up with Karma for a very poke-heavy composition already.
it's true. The question is, where does that Karma go? It could. I think at first, most people will default it to a solo lane, but obviously she is still a very strong support. I also like the Xayah pickup. I think Xayah is on 9.12 is probably the best ADC.
Yeah,
Shiver very
Sivir
close
and
behind.
Zaya, definitely. I like those two
Rek'Sai
a
as
lot.
well. Rek'Sai coming in for the jungle. Uh, Pretty standard, I think. I think Rek'Sai is still good. Very strong early game, or you can go Conqueror and be a bit more of a mid game threat.
I'm actually a bit disappointed on the Rex I pick because this is Sawn who is picking on EVOS' side, finally making the move over to one of the premier teams. And Sawn was famous for his Nidalee all the time. I wanted to see him playing Nidalee again, but this first game on EVOS will be a very standard jungler in the Rex side.
Ooh,
Ezreal,
a Leaf picked up. That's an
Elise.
early game jungler right there. That's very VCS. That's early brawls, early dives.
And that's already a lot of AP damage coming through, kind of indicating to me that this Karma will actually be the support. Because if you pick up Karma top or mid with the least jungle, your damage profile will be very one-sided. I'd like the
That's very
Karma now to slot into bot lane, I think, looking at the Elise pickup.
That's very true. Unless there's going to be an AD mid, like maybe a Yasuo in some universes a Zed.
Yeah.
But interesting to see. I mean, I don't think EVOS thinks it's going bot with a Rakan ban.
All right.
Um, if you were leaning towards that being a bot lane Karma, you wouldn't ban. And a Syndra ban as well. Is Dia1 particularly known for his Syndra? Because that's an
Yeah, yeah.
interesting
He's
ban.
actually he's actually
Not
the
a
Syndra main. So um,
that'd be.
Syndra very strong laner. I think they just wanted to get rid of the priority in mid lane and give Victory a bit of an easier time in the mid lane against Dia1, one of our promising second split players here. I actually think the Rakan ban is kind of ill-advised from EVOS. I'm a bit weirded out by the Rakan ban, I have to say, because FTV had the opportunity to pick up Rakan if they actually wanted to play Zaya Rakan on the third pick. So not picking up the Rakan kind of indicates to me that they are already not going for the Zaya Rakan here.
I mean, I think it was
Oh,
a very good read by EVOS that
what?
that wasn't going to be a support Karma because
I mean,
that's solo lane Karma.
you're right, but I didn't expect this to happen.
I'm
B,
not sure how they read it, but they did.
that's a very interesting twist. Zaya Thresh. Hmm.
I mean,
I've not seen that lane a whole lot.
of the supports that were left, Thresh was pretty high up there, like with a Nautilus and a Rakan ban, and FTV taking out the Yumi themselves.
Yeah.
I suppose it was pretty much Thresh or Kench, right? And I guess they just didn't put value on the time Kench, which has obviously been picked up by EVOS,
Yeah,
as well
which
as
is
the
kind of
Kench.
weird because if you don't pick the Kench, as you see, the enemy can just go Kench Ezreal. And what is Zaya Thresh supposed to do against Kench Ezreal in lane? They will never kill the enemy team, the enemy bot, I should say. So and
Yeah, I
TK is
think
sitting
that
at a
has
57% win rate on the globe on 9.11. So it's
mm.
still a very strong champion. Azir last
Yeah,
pick.
absolutely. Yeah, see, I don't like the Azir pick. I have seen all around the world in many regions teams picking Azir, and he goes 0-0-0 in lane, and then there's a later team fight. He goes for the Shurima shuffle. He fails it. He dies, and his team loses.
Yeah, and it's a very non-Vietnam champ, I think. Looking at as someone who watched the spring split closely, I think such a late game focused champion is not typical of Vietnamese teams. Interesting pickup, and I really don't like the damage profile on the top side. I touched on it briefly earlier that I don't like Karma paired up with Elise because of the double AP damage profile, and now they have picked triple AP on the top side. Very easy to
Where
itemize
does
against.
my question for FTV here is: you picked Elise, who is a very strong early game ganker. What lane does she?
Yeah, yeah.
Kennedy top lane, that's a very difficult gank to make happen. Azir can't really set you up nearly as well against the Nico as you'd like, and Ezreal time Kench doesn't die.
Yeah, I think FTV has really lost the draft heavily. I like their champs in isolation, but I really don't like the whole comp assembled. Um, Bot lane is kind of whatever for me. I don't like the Thresh pick, especially with Tahm Kench open. I think slotting Karma into bot lane was still the better option, and looking for a strong AD solo laner for top lane, maybe even flexible to the mid lane as well. But I have to say, Rika is obviously known for his rise and a lot of mage play, so not too surprised that Rika is picking up the top lane Karma. Overall,
Yeah,
still,
the biggest pick that surprised me in this draft was Azir. I just don't think it quite fits. I
no,
think there were
really not as a last
better
pick.
choices. Um, yeah, and I feel like if you were going to go towards a later game comp, which you could do with this comp, you know, Zaya's very strong in the late game, Karma is very strong-ish in the late game, then what's the Elise? It just feels like whenever you try and think about win conditions, there's a hole in it.
Yeah,
Also,
imagine a tank jungle in this position. Imagine a
yeah, like
Sejuani or
Sejuani was open.
Skarner or something.
I think Skarner would have been fantastic. Also worth noting here for EVS, 3 teleports.
Very true.
They are
Very
getting
safe
around the
bot
map
lane.
very quickly.
Yeah, and they already surrendered any kind of 2v2 pressure in terms of kills with these summoner spells picked up. And it's Ezreal Tahm Kench, so no one expected anything different. Those two champions will just farm and do nothing, and the enemy Thresh will be, yeah, very sad, not doing anything in
I think
lane.
Thresh has to roam.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
If he
But where does
stays
he
in bot
roam to?
lane, that's the question, isn't it? And I think that's sort of what we touched on when we were commenting on the Elise pick, is that you can roam, but you're probably not going to kill Nico.
No,
You're going to
Nico
roam
is so
all the
hard to
way to
kill as
top.
Thresh.
Like, yeah, Thresh, Elise, Karma can lock Kennen down long enough to kill him, but is Thresh going to roam all the way top?
Yeah,
A
don't really
long
see
way to
that
go and
happening
leave
either.
police by himself. But we do see the power of this top lane Karma almost immediately, just shoving the lane in and walking away.
And I also have to say, I don't quite agree with the cannon pickup for EVOS either here. I think something more maybe melee-ish, tank-ish for Mia's would have been a good option. I don't really see the point of picking Cannon, who will still lose lane to Karma. And then his biggest strength normally is to win lane and dominate and get a few platings and set up for plays. But this lane he will just straight up lose. So one of his biggest strengths already taken away against this Karma pick.
I think you're right. It is an interesting pick, but there's a pretty deadly team fight if you layer a Kennen and a Nico together, especially because it is the Victory just dies.
Wait,
I'm
what?
not sure. We didn't see the lead into that play. It looked like
You're actually still a little bit ahead of me. We're at 3:25 now, so I'm sorry for the delay.
I am a little bit ahead of you. Tell me when you get to 3:40.
Okay.
But yeah,
we're still seeing a bot lane.
It looked like it was just a flash
40 now.
All right, so we should be in sync now. I do apologize to everyone for that.
Yeah.
It looked like it was just a flash knock-up from Sorn.
Yeah.
But his flash being spent, and Azir just died and used all of his summoners. That's bad.
Yeah. Now you look at this. Now you look at this game, and the hope really dwindles away. Because what is this comp supposed to do?
What's going on? Yeah,
Nicely
it was
done.
just a blinding. The knockup didn't even hit.
I think it did. It looked a bit weird because the knockup was not animated, but he was stuck there and could not move. Oh, Biob.
Biob taking a lot of damage, but he's Tom Kent, so he will just walk away.
He was bot lane struggling way more than I anticipated in this matchup. Getting pushed down in the 2v2, and now dive set up by Kuroko.
This is really dangerous. There's a TP in here, and Biob's not enough health to really help out. No Way's just dead.
Oh, nice TP coming in.
TP coming in, but it's a little bit too late. The repel will reset the aggro here. Dia comes in,
wow!
Get a flash, and he gets the double kill. Kuroko going huge here. This is a triple. This Nico's dead.
No one has any mana left. And now Sorn is here.
True. And
another
Sorn's
TP
coming in, and another TP.
Another
You got to find a way out. It's a party in the bot lane, boys. Here we go. Rika gets rooted up. That will take a little bit of damage, but he was the healthiest. Victory leading the way out. Sorn gets going in on. That's 2 soldiers on top of him, but it's not going to be enough.
Oh my god.
Everyone
no one dies.
I'm not sure how no one died there. I thought we were going to be looking at an absolute graveyard in the bot lane.
And actually, No Way just casually walks back into lane. Wave in a perfect spot for him to start farming again. Oh man, that was messy.
That all started from... I mean, that's where the 3 TPs really made a difference there. Ezreal TP'd in to die, but Mias and Dia 1 were able to support the team to stop it being a lot of kills for FTV, but I'm not 100% sure how that happened.
I think the most the funniest part about this whole play was Biob's contribution, which was exactly absolutely nothing. He just stayed there with 200 HP and watched his ADC die, and then died himself. Look at Biob.
I'm coming. He hit a Q on Kuroko. He did slow him.
Fair enough. But now he gives his life for absolutely nothing. What are you doing, Biob? What? He didn't even activate his E.
Yeah, I don't know how Dia 1 didn't die there.
Yeah, as I said before, I think no mana.
Yeah. And then it just turns into, like, cue the mariachi music. We've got a fiesta already.
Now Rika's here.
I mean, very good. Like, it is worth commenting, as much as it was a bit of an odd play. That was really well played by Victory. He did exactly what had to happen. He opened up. He by forcing Sorn out there, he opened the gates for his team to escape.
Yeah.
Which was really...
Overall, I liked the play from FTV. They set up the dive, cleanly pushed on the wave, punished No Way for his over-aggressive or greedy TP, I should say. I don't agree with No Way's decision there to TP at all. They had no vision on the enemy jungler. His support had 100 HP, so no way he can... Oh, okay. Pun not intended, I'm sorry. Yeah, no way for Biob there to interact with him.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I think it was just a TP that there wasn't much thought put into. Just
Yeah,
you know, just got to
just
get
an
back to the lane,
automatism
right?
there.
Do, do, do,
Yeah.
do, do.
Yeah, but nicely done from FTV to punish this little mistake. And as we're looking at
Absolutely.
FTV as one of the probably struggling teams coming into summer, they finished the spring season in seventh place with only 3 serious victories and only barely requalified. So supposed to be one of the bottom teams, showing quite a good gameplay so far. For 8 minutes,
Yeah.
I still don't like their draft. I still think they're heavily favored to lose this game, just because of the draft. But yeah, their gameplay has been solid so far.
Yeah. So far, they've definitely had signs of life. Uh, Also, very good start here for them with Kuroko getting 2 kills. We were wondering how is this Elise going to get into the game.
Yeah, it's actually
Turns
the
out,
worst player to get the kills, I have to say, though, because Elise will not do anything for them to win the game. If she doesn't get like 10 kills or something and is able to one shot no way on the Ezreal or DR1, because yeah,
the one thing
Elise
I think
notoriously famous for being insanely weak in team fights.
that's I agree with you, but I think the one thing that, considering it is only 9 minutes in and he has 2 kills, I think that early gold and like these, we see the early Moby boots. It's still early enough in the game that it can set up dives where previously I don't think you could have dived a Kennen. I don't think you could have dove
Mm.
a Nico. If you got a 2 kill Elise, suddenly maybe you can.
Yeah, while I agree with
But yeah,
that,
you are right. That going forward, definitely not where you want.
I would say that the boot choice is actually not the greatest for him because we talked about it earlier. Especially you touched upon his very hard lanes to gank on the other side. So why would you go for mobility? I think you have to go for damage as fast as possible. Finish your runic echo and look for the dives with your damage and aggro reset. You don't need the mobility to influence the map. So
I think maybe the logic is the lanes are too hard to gank, so he's gonna try and get Sorn out of the game. Because that is always the other option. If you can't gank the lanes, you can always screw with the enemy jungler. I think that's a dangerous proposition against a Hail of Blades Rek'Sai, but I think that might be some of the logic. He can
oh,
just motor around. Oh,
what?
wave clear ult. It's fine.
What?
Clearing the wave and go back to base. That's not terrible. That's a thing.
That's a rumble thing, but I've never seen a cannon do it. What?
I see cannons do it every now and then.
Yeah.
I don't like it, especially against a Karma because, as you saw, she didn't miss anything.
Uh,
She got every CS under the turret because it's
to be fair to him,
Karma.
he has no kill pressure at all on Karma, so maybe he just wanted to utilize his ult to get a better reset there. Still, I've never seen a cannon doing this. His ult isn't even that great at killing minions, to be honest.
It's interesting. But
Trade
we did
between
see the Rift Herald for Drake.
Yeah, immediate advantage almost always goes to the Rift Herald team, especially because they got this Rift Herald pretty cleanly. So maybe with the LAs setting up a top dive once again. Oh, they actually immediately spawned the Rift Herald here. We are still
Yep, straight into top.
some more gold into Rika. Not sure if I agree.
Solo gold as well.
Yeah,
At least not sticking around.
and
Uh,
this should be 3 platings going over to the top lane Karma.
Should be. And it's pretty heavy top lane control. Like, that turret's nearly dead.
That being said, she's still going for a utility-focused build. Look at the Karma. A few solo lane Karmas like to go for the Luden's Echo first to really dominate the one-on-one matchup and look for big burst trades. But this Karma is straight up going for team fights, straight up going into Athene's Unholy Grail.
I like the Luden's Echo,
Yeah,
personally.
I think it's the
I
better
think the
choice.
Luden's is much better for lane, but that kind of tells me that FTV is going to be looking for early team fights, like one item. Uh,
Yeah.
and I
Oh,
guess
it's a
they're going to try.
Luden's Echo Azir as well. We've seen two schools of thought on Azir. A few players, especially European pro players, I've seen a few tweets about Azir's with Luden's Echo build first are trolling or something. So European players really don't like to see the Luden's Echo Azir, but some, especially in Korea, this is now the go-to build, I think. And some of the reason why he's prioritized this much, because his early game is much better building Luden's.
Yeah, I think considering Victor is running that Comet instead of a lethal tempo, I think he just wants to be a little bit safe, be able to sit back at range. I don't think he's going to be going for kills
It's a
on tier 1 or anything.
very lane-focused Azir. Looking at his rune and also item choice. This is a lane-focused Azir, which is kind of weird, because why would you pick Azir if you want to play a lane-focused one-item teamfight game? Can play so many other champions. Just go Zoe in that case, I think. Very lane-focused champ as well. Don't really understand the choice.
It might, like, in the end, the one thing our analysis could miss is just comfort.
Yeah, definitely.
It's very possible that Victory just felt better on Azir, and that's a very valid thing. But yeah, I do agree that looking at it from a purely analytical point of view, why not pick Zoe? Zoe's still good. Yeah. She had some nerfs, but she's fine.
She's
just fair now.
Especially on 1 or 2 items, she's still maybe the strongest mage.
Ooh, TP into the bot lane here. Biob's caught out with no way in his mouth. This is an absolute rumble. The ult comes out from Police, but it puts him in the middle of nowhere. He gets the shield from... I'm not sure where that shield even came from. That must have been the Karma.
This is chaos.
That is Kuroko dead. What is going on? This team fight is so disorganized. Ooh. Police is somehow still alive, but Karma will go down and then say 2 for 2. Oh, it's a triple kill here for Sorn. He gets out. Yes, he's past those soldiers.
Nicely assisted by Dia1. Wow, I hope we get a breakdown of this team fight again, maybe even in slow motion, because that was absolute chaos. And both ADCs actually... No, Police died in the end, but I think Police looked completely dead after a few seconds, but he got out. Bit of Mia's missing there. A bit. What is happening?
That's a Nico clone. Okay. I was concerned for a moment. Just what are you doing? Just inting, but no.
Victory actually almost going down to the Nico clone bait.
Yeah, not quite, thankfully. In the end, 3 for 2 in favor of EVS.
Please show us the replay.
Yeah, I'd like a replay. I want to know how that must have started from a hook. Because Biob and No Way were...
I think Kuroko sneaked on the other side of the bot lane duo to initiate this play. Then FTV thought they could get an easy pick on the bot lane, but a very good reaction by the Cannon, who then played the teamfight absolutely horribly, as we can see once again now. Kuroko's on his way. Biob actually tanks a lot of damage here. And then this Cannon ult, immediate cocoon, nicely done by Kuroko. I did not spot the cocoon, so Mias was not able to reposition his very bad stopwatch. What is this stopwatch?
As well.
And what was the stopwatch supposed to do for Mias there? He just wasted 600 gold. Then he goes down. Police with very clean team fighting, in my opinion. In the end, goes down to the very strong Rek'Sai ult, and then, wow, Hail of Blade, Rek'Sai coming in hot.
Yeah, that was a very chaotic team fight there, but honestly, very well played by several members of EVS.
Yeah.
And also, Police played that really well to survive as long as he did. In the end, died to a Rek'Sai ult. Not a huge amount you can do about that. You're going to get tagged at some point in the fight, and then obviously he just clicks on you. But Mias is in some trouble here. Ooh, I think Rika could have kept going there.
This matchup is still not great for the Cannon, even after 60 minutes into the game, especially because the Cannon did not go for the new laning Cannon build.
Rika could be in some trouble here.
I don't think Rika dies
on the way
here.
in, has the knock-up.
Oh, Dia1 is as well.
That's a pretty...
I didn't see Dia1 coming as well.
I did, Karma.
And once again, Sorn takes the kill. Not the biggest fan of him going for all the kills here. You could give one or two, especially to a struggling Cannon. Cannon would have liked this kill a lot. Look at his items. He has absolutely nothing right now. He's a very utility-based Cannon.
He's just gone for that. I'm getting bopped in lane. I guess I'll get a proto belt. I can afford that. And it was first turret taken in the mid lane as well in trade
FTV
for
is
that.
still ahead in gold.
Yeah, I think FTV will take this trade every day of the week. Like, you lost one kill, but you got the mid lane turret.
But they'll
also
lose the top
first
lane turret. So in the end,
Yeah, but mid lane is so much more important. Like, the gold
that's
is
true.
even, well, roughly, because first turret. But mid lane means so much more than top lane turret.
That's absolutely true.
And they got bot. And they got bot lane.
And
I
it's
didn't even
insanely
know
hard
that
for
until then.
EVOS to actually get the mid lane turret against an Azir now very comfortably in the game, sitting at a bit of attack speed, a lot of mana, a lot of wave clear in the Luden's Echo as well. So how are you ever supposed to take down this mid lane turret? It will be very hard for EVOS. And as
Yeah,
we're
I'm not
entering mid game, what are we actually looking at in terms of game plan for both teams? I
I think
think
you need to keep playing around the Rek'Sai for now. Like, Thorn has taken all of those kills. Well, taken's a strong word. He's gotten all of the kills.
I think taken is an
The,
absolute
la-
perfect word
the,
to
la-
describe
the
him.
last one was definitely taken, but
Yeah,
in that bot lane fight, I don't think there was too much kill
yeah,
distribution that could
that's fair.
happen. That last one, I could have shared. Um, I think you have to keep playing around him for now. When we saw the gold there for a moment, we did say he has a huge lead over the Elise, which isn't surprising. Um, as you said, mid lane turret's not going down. Victory can
Yeah.
just sit there all day.
And we set up a bit of a narrative that FTV wants to play around one or two items, but right now I think they actually changed their plan and are looking for an ultra late game. Because right now, one or two items is very scary for them. They face a strong Rek'Sai, they face two item Nico, who has a lot of utility and damage, and now Ezreal is looking at the completion of the two strongest items for mid game. Actually, the Trinity Ezreal coming through. So FTV should probably adapt their plan and now look for a very slow mid game, try to not get caught out, scale on the Zarya as well as Azir. And even though you have a very AP heavy damage profile in the late game with Zarya hitting 100% crit and yeah, the almost true damage coming through from Azir with his penetration later on. I think they still have very strong team fighting. So a bit of an adaptation from FTV might be coming in terms of game plan.
Yeah, I think you're right there. The big struggle, of course, is that if you do go for a late game plan, your Elise is pretty unhappy. She's obviously very weak in that situation, but I'm not sure you have a choice.
I think Elise is okay actually in the late game in this case because she doesn't need to really contribute a whole lot other than CC, and she can still hit her E and then follow up with a bit of maybe even turret tanking on her, using her repel and stuff like that. So obviously she's not the strongest team fighting champ. She's nowhere close to a Sejuani or anything like that. But you're looking at a very strong Rek'Sai as well, who will fall off in the later stages of the game, just as the Elise does. And Rek'Sai has a much harder time hitting her CC in team fights, so it's actually, just looking at the jungle champs, it's not that much of a difference in the late game, I think, and team fight contribution, so FTV can be happy with their Elise falling off more and more in this game, to some degree.
That's true. It's true. So I think we need to look at where's the next point of play. There's an Ocean Drake up. I think both teams would actually really like an Ocean Drake. I think it would be more valuable for FTV purely because they're playing into an Ezreal. I love an Ocean Drake against Ez because it just makes his poke so much
Very good
less
point, yeah.
debilitating. Um,
And they're
but
already approaching the Ocean Drake as well.
yeah, it looks like it might just be getting given up here by EVS. They have to suspect that someone's on it. I assume Karuko is taking it. Yeah, he is. They check it with the Ezalt now, so they definitely know that that's gone. I think that was something to contest, honestly. They get Baron Vision as a trade, but I don't think you're going to be starting a Baron.
Yeah, their Baron damage is not great in this game. really not great for EVOS' side. They can't really start the Baron and do anything with that because their Baron taking is so slow. I think they need about maybe 25 seconds to take down the Baron from full if they are approaching it with 5 members or 4 members. So not the greatest opportunity there for EVOS. They have a poke composition in the Ezreal and Nico with a lot of pick as well. I don't like their very defensive and kind of lost approach to the map right now. I think they need to look for more proactive plays. They have the opportunity to catch out members, especially utilizing their Nico. And the late game looks scary on FTV side. You don't ever want to play against full item Zarya Azir. Even though the rest of the team fight is not the team comp is not great for late game team comps, it's still the 2 main carries that look very scary. So not
yeah, absolutely.
Not too happy with EVOS so far, I have to say. I think they need to be more proactive. They have such a great comp for picks and flanks, and they're not doing anything with it.
That said, I think FTV is doing a very good job of not giving them much. Like we've seen, B is basically sticking on top of police, and that we questioned the Thresh pick a little bit, but Thresh Lantern is still, in my opinion, one of the strongest abilities in the game.
Of course.
It can just get police out of danger, which is obviously very important. Elise is very safe with Repel, can buy a lot of time. Azir is hard to catch. Karma is Karma.
Yeah, especially after the buff. Karma is Karma. Point 2.
Karma is, Usain Bolt down a lane with, a 10,000 point shield.
And I'd like to point to the vision game that's happening right now. The last few minutes was dominated by a heavy vision contest on alternating between the 2 teams around the Baron area. First EVOS established control, then FTV was going for the Dragon. Then FTV actually very assertively got the control back around Baron. Now this is happening again, so EVOS is not defending their vision line as they had to do to actually get an advantage using their vision wards. Not the greatest vision play from EVOS, and I think FTV is playing very good on timings for wards. They get into the right time, and then are very safe so far.
Yeah, I think we see that it's just the vision around Baron is mostly just being traded back and forth.
And that's
very classic Baron dance.
Very good for FTV.
But I think that's good for FTV, and I also think they're actually dancing a little bit better. When they're moving into clear wards, they clear everything. It's completely dark for EVOS, but they're managing to defend their vision line. Not completely; they lose 90% of it, but they normally have 1 or 2 wards left, which mean at least it's not completely dark. You have some idea what's going on, and I think that's actually very valuable.
Yeah. That being said, though, EVOS used the last few minutes to actually get a bit of a lead from Mias in terms of experience. He was able to stay in bot lane for the last, I don't even know how long, I think 5 minutes straight, to farm and farm and farm away. And he's almost looking at level 16, now finally hitting a spot in the game where he's ahead in levels compared to Rika. Ooh, Baron started.
Baron started, and this is going to melt.
Yeah, this is a Baron take. Yeah, this Baron is gone.
This is gone.
Nice call. Very good.
All that matters here is can they get out?
Yeah, there's the lantern.
Flash. He doesn't even need to use it.
Oh, Sawn is
here. They just get out. Sawn's here and no way's looking for a way in, but I think they're just too slippery.
Wow, I love this.
They're gone.
That was so well played by FTV. Once again, checking if EVOS is actually asleep. And, they were caught pretty much sleeping there.
Yep. I'm honestly surprised that there wasn't some thought from EVOS that might happen. And also I think we saw the real value of the mobility and ability to slip away. How they all got out there was absurd.
Yeah.
They all got over the back Baron wall.
And I have to say, I've been really impressed with FTV's mid and later game right now, because I can't really fault them for anything. They played the vision game in a very, very systematic approach, and now they profited with the Baron, taking another dragon down. So this game now looks firmly in control of FTV. Looking at the items, Zaya already hitting 3 items. There is a very strong victory in the backline as well. Rika is there. He's Karma, so
Yeah.
Karma
He's giving
is
shield.
whatever, making his
He wasn't
teammates
even
faster.
at the Baron. He was in bot lane.
Yeah, he was distracting the
Mias
cannon.
TP'd in. Bother. Yep. It didn't matter. He didn't have to follow the TP. It was never. His team was never going to fight over the Baron. They were just going to take it and leave. And they did. They took their ball and went home. He didn't need to come.
And this is a double Ardent Sensor composition, course, and not 2 Ardent Sensor build, but 2 champs who profit from Ardent Sensor, I should say, because Azir and Zaya both like this item a lot. 2 ults wasted on Police's ult. That's why he didn't go down. Nicely done by him, delaying.
Yeah.
Still had to flash over. Very scary Rek'Sai approaching there.
Yeah, I think the flash there was 100% necessary. He died to almost anything. He was very low. But I just want to point out, and I know I'm harping on it a little bit, they got over that back Baron wall. 4 of them got over with 2 flashes.
Yeah. Nicely done, definitely.
Yeah. Thorn goes in there, doesn't find police in the end, does get the Thresh Lantern out, but at least they're looking for something. And they do have this 5-man push in the mid lane. This should be mid lane tower going down.
EVOS getting more than they should have gotten here. FTV
Yeah,
a bit.
this is 2 towers.
Yeah, and FTV
They had a really bad track.
had the Baron active on them, and they could have defended this one, but they took the wrong path and traded 1 turret for 2, which is really not that great if you have Baron. And Baron only active for 20 more seconds, so they didn't get to kill 1 inhibitor, which is usually the benchmark for Baron. You want to always get at least 1 inhibitor. They at least get 1 turret, though.
Yeah, getting the inhib turret, breaking the base is pretty big. I mean, Victory hasn't left.
Baron's still active for a few seconds. 5, 4, okay. So 1 inhibitor turret going down, setting up the game to be a 2 Baron game for FTV. They sneaked the first Baron, got a big advantage, and the next Baron will be the closeout objective. If they are able to get the next Baron, I think this game is EVOS's. EVOS can't take this game away from FTV anymore. The gold lead is still not that big.
Mias here, making some good progress in the bot lane. It's not going to get the turret in the end, unfortunately, but he does force the recalls, gives map control fully back over to EVS.
Yeah, his side lane play has been very good. Very, very good timing on the side lanes. It was not his fault that the Baron went down. He was there checking Rika, and the rest of his team was doing nothing. So you can't really fault him for that. He even TP'd in, maybe a bit late, but his whole team was late to react.
I mean, he had to be careful because Rika can stop a TP.
Yeah, and he can probably even kill him if he gets caught TPing there. So
yeah, absolutely.
Hard game to play for Mias, but right now he's a level 16 cannon with flash available, so he can look for the big flank that gets EVOS back into the game. Maybe wait a few more minutes until Baron is back up, so you actually get to profit from the play. Right now, EVOS wants to stabilize and get back into a better position, especially to contest the next Baron, which spawns, I think in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I think the next Baron's going to be so difficult for EVOS, though. Like, it's a 4-item Zaya.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. I don't want to go into a Baron pit against a 4-item Zaya or a 3-item Azir.
Yes, what are you doing?
He went in, he forced Police's ult there.
He once again wasted his flash and ult. Flash and ult now down for Cannon.
I didn't notice that he flashed. I didn't actually mind the ult.
The ult was fine. I think so too.
But flashing, I think, was a little bit presumptuous.
Yeah.
I don't think... Like, you've got Zaya, who can ult for safety, also standing on top of a Thresh and a Karma.
Now EVOS can't really do anything until the ult cooldown is has abated. So Very good position for FTV. They can now re-establish a vision lead around Baron. Already Pink's coming down. Very bad positioning from EVOS overall on the map. They need to run to the Baron right now. They need to start running.
Yeah, I mean, there is going to be a very short window where Mias has his ult and Police doesn't.
Oh, well.
But if Thorn goes down, that second Baron. Oh no, he gets chunked out to half. B takes a lot of damage in response. Rika as well, going in on Biob, but he takes a lot of poke. And there's a third window there. Biob doesn't actually go down because Mias got chunked out and had to run. This is going to be Baron, I think. 4v5. This Baron goes down very, very quickly.
Yeah.
I think this is second Baron.
Yeah.
Ooh,
No way for Zorn to contest this one. So this is second Baron for FTV, and I talked about second Baron being the game breaker, being the nail in the coffin for EVOS. So I think FTV has just, save from a big slip up, they have secured the game right now. Very good first game for FTV, looking much stronger than the last season of VCS so far. It's only been one game, obviously, but very good start.
A little bit unfortunate there for EVOS that was a Cloud Drake. I think an Infernal would have been really welcome.
I actually don't like the Dragon take at all. I think they should have not taken the Dragon. Why reset the timer and give FTV? Yeah. What is the
That's actually true.
What is the second Cloud Drake doing for you? Absolutely nothing. Why would you take the second Cloud Drake and give the Elder timing over to FTV? Let them work for themselves.
I think we see that in a lot of regions. I know LS has harped on quite a lot about it in the LCK. Teams do need to think about that. When you're at this like 32, 33 minutes, it's like, yeah, you might think taking a dragon. I'm not. What was that?
I think it's the Ezreal skin. I was so confused the last few times I saw this Ezreal skin, because every time he lands in the W on the turret and then executes the W, there's a big splash effect, and I think it's actually the skin that's causing all this visual noise. My God.
That's some special tactics right there. Oh,
Ooh,
Tier
flank.
1 going down. Manages to get into the stopwatch, actually, but the Thresh Lantern gets victory out. Kuroko survives on a
jump play here.
Of health, but hook onto Biob as well. He's going to go down.
This is it.
My God, that skin needs to be disabled if that's what it is. But that will be game. FTV taking game 1. They looked clean. They looked really. Oh my God, my eye.
It's really annoying. FTV looked really good. Very slow game. Really looking nothing like VCS in spring. Far longer than the average time in every big region so far. I checked the average timings. It's between 31 and 33 minutes throughout all of the 4 major regions. Sorry, LMS, you don't get to count anymore. And yeah, this game was very slow. Looked a bit like an LCK game, maybe not quite on the highest level of LCK teams, but few kills, very big windows of trading vision, which is really not what I would expect from watching Vietnamese teams play.
Yeah, it was very controlled. It was controlled aggression, which is not something we always see out of the Vietnamese region. Sometimes we do have a little bit of the players being let off the leash, but I feel like they were very much
most definitely
containing themselves, which is good. That's good to see. Aggression is great, but you've got to do it.
And we actually saw an Arzia win the game. I'm not quite sure how.
Yeah, Arzia won a game. And that said, like I ragged on the pick, and I still hate when people pick Azir. But that was really well played by Victory.
I mean, Azir is one of my favorite champions, but I still think he's picked way too often. But that being said, they executed on the strength of Azir very well. They've defended their mid lane turret, which is one of Azir's biggest strengths, and then they went for an early Baron. It wasn't that early; it was 28 minutes, so nothing like a 20-minute Baron sneak. But it's still a Baron sneak using Azir's insane Baron damage. So nicely done by the underdog, quite frankly, coming into this game with FTV going now up 1-0 over EVOS, the finalist, and also Rift Rivals participant. Rift Rivals Asia with Dashing Buffalo, and EVOS. So not the greatest look
Oh,
for the number 2 team from spring.
no, but they can come back in game 2. Do you have anything you think needs to change in the draft? Anything that needs to be banned? I think it really came down to execution more than
Yeah.
picks.
I think I still stand by my point, even though it looks a bit dumb in hindsight, that I favor EVOS's comp. I think they
Yeah,
had the
don't think
big
you're wrong.
opportunity to get this game rolling in the mid game, but they just didn't play proactively enough. Didn't look for flanks. They struggled a lot because of the mid lane turret. So in the light of that, I think the Asia pick actually did more for FTV than we initially anticipated.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think they kind of can run back the composition there. I don't like the cannon pick. I still think you need to adjust the cannon pick to something more impactful, stronger in early skirmishes, maybe. And Irelia was banned, if I recall correctly, but yeah, I think something like an Irelia, maybe another melee champion, maybe a tank even to initiate team fights, looking for a Poppy or a Cyan even. It's not
I mean,
great
I
to
think
play those champs into Karma, but
Poppy would have been fantastic into that team. I think.
especially into
Um,
Thresh, she's very good.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, we'll see in game 2. Let's see if EVOS can fire back and take us to a game 3.
What do you think is the MVP for this game, for the first one?
I think it's hard to say. I think it was a very strong team effort. I'm
Yeah.
leaning towards Police. I think he was just such a strong threat. But again, I think you could go one of like 4 ways.
I tend to agree. I think one of the two bot laners should get the MVP here. They won their lane
Yeah.
pretty hard. They've played team fights very well. I think it's either police or B, really. Maybe I'll lean a bit more to the support. Of course, he had very good lanterns and some good
Yeah,
hooks as well. So yeah, one of the two I think is
yeah,
is fair.
yeah. I think. I mean, if we're gonna pick someone, I think we should both. I think we can both agree on B,
Yeah,
and I'll say that because I think Thresh is a more interesting champion to pick in the current meta than. I mean, Xayah is just ridiculously strong.
that's very true.
But yeah, I think that's game 1.
Yeah, and we'll
Let's
be
see what
back
happens next.
in 6 minutes for game 2. See you guys then. Oh, that's that's stolen from G2. I know that picture.
Yeah.
Perks had the exact same thing happening in Spring Split. Oh, okay. VCS now steals from G2. I like that.
Hey, I mean, you should
Yeah, you should for
should
sure.
steal from D2.
First game
Lots of things to
actually
steal.
didn't look like G2 at all. And this is probably
No.
the biggest, the most hyped move. We just saw Levi there. Levi returning
Yeah.
to the VCS. We'll see him tomorrow. Sadly, today Gama's not playing, but tomorrow we'll see the first game of Gigabyte Marines. But now
That's super high.
it's very hype. Sadly, still not with zeros, obviously, but we'll get to that tomorrow. Now we have to focus back on EVOS against FTV. After FTV, surprisingly, took the first game quite convincingly.
Yeah, I think they looked good.
Second game now. I'm not sure if we are trading sides. Oh, Kuroko getting the MVP in the first game.
Yeah, I don't. As I said, I think you really could have given MVP to like 4 out of the 5 players.
He had
I
one
don't think that's
very, very good teamfight cocoon on the cannon. After the cannon teleported into the bot lane, he immediately cocooned him. That was one of the game deciding moments, so fair,
very true.
I assume. I still think you should give it to the bot lane, so for me, B is the MVP in the first game. We'll keep track of our MVPs and we'll kind of look at how the VCS differs from our opinion and the official broadcast that is. But
Yeah, exactly.
junglers tend to get a lot of MVPs though.
They've got the official. We've got unofficial MVP.
Yeah.
We'll see who matters more in the end. But we should be getting into game 2 any moment now. I'm going to be interested to see what changes in the bans potentially. I think we could see different junglers. I think you're right that you could potentially just have.
Oh,
if you're EVOS,
we see a substitution coming in. DivKid now playing for EVOS after Nobay had a bit of an off game in game 1. So now DivKid, the former ADC for FTV, now playing against his old team. Very hype. DivKid coming in game 2.
Interesting there. I don't think his Ezreal game was that. I don't think he played badly by any means. He had that one teleport that
his laning phase was not great. Everything after the lane was fine, I think.
Yeah, exactly. Interesting decision though. As we do see similar bans so far, Irelia and Jace taken out. And
No Gragas banned so far.
Yes, so far, but I think it was EVOS that banned it last time though.
Yeah, blue side. Yeah.
So, and they also there we go. So far the bans are the same. They're just in a little bit of a different order.
And we didn't see Yuumi priority here, and I think Yuumi would have fit the game style. I was kind of skeptical if Yuumi would fit VCS for her preferring maybe a bit slower games, lane-focused games, and VCS sometimes devolving into a bit of a fiesta. But the last game, I think, especially EVOS could have picked up the Yuumi to complement their Ezreal in the bot lane. So let's see if we see a bit of Yuumi in this game. Karma banned.
Karma taken out.
Nice. No Karma for this game. Oh, yeah, Nico once again first pick.
Nico open. First pick straight away. I don't think it had a huge impact last game, mostly just because it wasn't really allowed to.
Yeah.
But now we see it in the hands of FTV. See what they can do with it. And again, flex pick. That doesn't give anything away.
That's already the very first takeaway from these first 2 drafts in VCS now on 9.12. They really value the Nico highly. Nico, I think, is not as highly valued in any other region, so interesting take from the Vietnamese teams.
Yeah, interesting, especially since that Xayah is going over there to DivKid. We saw how strong Xayah was last game. We could see a Rakan being picked up straight away.
I think Rakan Oda Jungle is the pickup here. Rakan
I think we
Jungle
could
be something. Yeah, it's the jungler. It's once again Elise.
Yeah, but it's on the EVOS side this time. We're having a little bit of a anything you can do, I can do better.
Yeah,
so far
it looks very similar so far.
I actually think that aside from the bans, the picks so far are actually identical. Just
Yep.
the teams have swapped.
So the meta read seems to be the same between the two teams. That being said, EVOS. No, I think you're
There's
not quite right.
that was
EVOS,
the Morgana.
yeah, FTV picked up the Karma in the first rotation. I think it was
Ah,
Karma,
you're right.
Zaya. So
You are right. The
almost the
Elise was
same. Almost the same.
But Morgana, she was banned last game, has been picked up
Yeah,
here.
this is in anticipation of Rakan bot lane. Morgana is very famous for being one of the strongest Rakan counters. So this pick now almost blocks the Rakan on EVOS' side. We'll have to see
Ooh.
much more early aggression.
This is two early game junglers, but the one thing to keep in mind, there's one matchup thing. Elise can counter jungle in Olaf really hard. Because Olaf likes to sit at low health when he's in the jungle.
That's true. If she gets the right timing, she can actually kill him incredibly quickly. And now we see the Lux deviating away from the Rakan. Of course, they didn't want to play the Rakan into the Morgana, so
Not
now...
yet.
Yeah, okay, maybe it's the mid lane Lux, but I really don't think... Oh, it's not locked in. I think it's locked in already. Yeah.
That is locked.
And Olaf has quietly risen to priority on 9.11, actually being the second most played jungle across the whole world, sitting at a 42 win rate only with 67 games played, so maybe a bit on the weaker side. He's hard to execute, sometimes can be tricky.
And he's terrible from behind.
Yeah, he is
the biggest
god-awful. He is really
if
not a
get
champion from behind.
He pops ult, he runs in, and he just loses. But we see the bans coming in, heavy ADC focus from EVOS, which isn't surprising. It hasn't been picked from FTV. You may as well get rid of the S tiers.
Yeah, I like this approach from EVOS a lot. Once again, banning out the Syndra from DR1, so they are really scared of his Syndra in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think just getting rid of a priority mid lane is not a bad decision. There's also no glaring bans that are needed. So I don't think you lose too much from banning her. Akali on 9-12.
Yeah, she still sees some play around the world.
It's okay.
That's actually one of the picks that's very different between the regions. Europe, for example, doesn't play Akali at all. Akali's dead in Europe, but she's still played in LPL and ALCS. Even on... I mean, 9.12 has not hit those regions, but even on 9.11 she was way weaker than before. And now FTV has to look for another ADC. It is the Kai'Sa already locked in. The two best ADCs against Xayah were banned away, so now Kai'Sa, bit of an older look.
Ooh. Corki comes in. This is interesting.
Blind mid, yeah.
Corki's a fairly safe blind mid.
I want to see Ryze on this patch. I have no idea how he works in pro play. I have not seen a Ryze on 9.12. I want to see this Ryze locked in.
I think he's considerably worse in pro play, but he's not bad. So you can lock this. Like, this is not a bad lock. Yeah.
And it's one of... oh no, it's Rika's favorite champ, so it's on the other side. So we see the Ryze on 9.12. I think we are the first region to get to see this champion played on this patch. If not, I'm sorry. I've not seen him play.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Unless it's been played in the LCK, which obviously we can't watch because we're busy.
Right now, you mean? That's possible.
Don't know, but in terms of games that we've had the opportunity to see, this will be the first Ryze. I think the changes that happened to him, I definitely think made him worse in pro play. Not having an instant route to set your jungler up is always a nerf, as is losing your shield. Yeah. But his ult is just better now.
Yeah, I think his 1v1 capabilities are way, way worse. So the biggest strength of Ryze before was that he was unbeatable in side lane. And now I think he's maybe not quite as menacing as before. His early game should be better though, and his team fighting might be a bit stronger as well, looking at the auto E spread. So if you're at level 16 now on Ryze, I think the damage is insane with E through the whole team and then Q critting for 100% extra damage. So
yeah, pretty ridiculous. Interesting thing to note there, because I do think you're right that his side lane 1v1 capability is so much worse. But looking at the teams, who stops him? He is worse, but looking at the picks, does Corki go into a side lane to stop him?
no, Corki hates side laning.
No. Yeah, exactly. Does Nico go? She can, but I think Ryze
can
is
win
okay.
against Ryze, I think. Nico actually
Yeah,
wins
can.
if she goes attack speed. She wins against Ryze, especially against Ryze on 9.12. The usual counter against attack speed Nico on Ryze was full penetration before, and that actually worked very well. LCK discovered that fix to the matchup because Nico actually emerged as one of Ryze's counters in the side lane. I'm not quite sure if Nico is going AP, so AP Nico is not winning side lane against Ryze.
Yeah, so who do you send? Like, I think it's really difficult.
There's no real answer I can give you here. Only one
Yeah.
TP on FTV side, so this time they are looking at team fights very clearly. This is a scaling composition if I've ever seen one. Almost all positions scale very well into the late game. Maybe Kuroko not so much, but he's more of the reaching the late game parts of the game through strong early game on the Olaf. As you said, Olaf is not great in the late game if he's behind. He's not great in the late game.
The thing is, if he's ahead,
he can be
in the late game. I mean, in the end, it gets to a point where you press R, you right-click on the enemy carry, and then you die. But
he has some Morgana in his backhand this game, and Morgana Olaf is a very nice combination. That being said, he has his ult as well, so Morgana actually doesn't really do a whole lot. I'm sorry,
yeah,
I kind of lost my thought there.
Well, the thing is, though, is ideally as Olaf, a lot of people forget sometimes that when you ult as Olaf, you lose like 30 armor and MR.
That's true.
So if you can just have a Morgana shield you instead, that is actually a lot better. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out, though. I think the early game will be pretty much just Sorn looking for ganks, and I think Mias is a pretty good target. Look at the damage! That level 2, Mias just didn't respect it. He takes 3/4 of his health.
Yeah, this is a very swingy matchup in the top lane. Usually the early game goes heavily in favor of Nico, but the Akali always has kill pressure on level 6, especially into AP Nico, as AP Nico is not able to itemize early MR, as the attack speed Nico is. So Rika has to be very careful, and Rika is kind of prone to dying a lot. I saw many games in the last season VCS that... not last season, last split, I should say, where he died 4 or 5 times in lane. So, Rika stepped up in game 1, was not the biggest focal point of the team, but didn't die. So, already a big improvement.
Yeah, I mean, he started this lane pretty well. Oh, Mia's having a rough time.
Yes, he's really having a rough time there.
Oh, God. Observers, move away. Stop shaming the man.
Oh,
but here comes the gank.
Oh, no. B.
Binding his fist. They did get the heal out from Lux, but trading it for the flash of Morgana. You're not happy there.
Oh, you want to quit the game when that happens. Oh, no. It's such a bad feeling. Oh, wow, look at the damage. Look at the damage.
That damage was absurd. That's just a kill straight onto Kuroko. That's double buff onto DivKid. B's just gone.
Very good start for EVOS.
For its TP. Fantastic start. Bot lane miles ahead now.
And DivKid showing why he was subbed in. Much better laning performance already coming in. Okay, it's not quite fair. He's playing one of the strongest laning champs in the game right now, in Xayah.
Still. Turning that was essentially a 2v3. Dia only came in right at the end.
Xayah is one of the champs that can turn around those situations very well with her feathers set up to turn around to fight. So they are still both almost full life.
Oh, I think they just get a single out.
Nicely done on B.
Kuroko he's just alone, and B's a little bit split from the team.
Police doesn't get any damage done. Police actually was there, but he wasn't really, because he didn't get a single auto attack on the enemy ADC. That was the big problem. They thought they were 3v2ing this, but in reality it was just the Olaf running at the enemy AD carry. And even the Morgana didn't contribute too much damage. So in the end, well, where was the third kill coming from? I think we missed a kill there.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, police died, and we didn't see police die.
Died. It must have been during the replay.
Yep. So now 3 kills ahead already for EVOS. Oh man, look at the gold lead. It's almost 2k in 5 minutes.
Absurd. And I mean, police and B can't do anything in this lane. That's a double buff Xayah. You're not going near that.
No.
He also
and the looks there. So
assisted on it.
Wow.
Well. Oh, that was a really good cocoon.
That was
well
clean.
played by Sword. That was very clean.
My God.
No wonder we missed it.
Him there.
Observers didn't have a chance, but yeah, no, very good start here for EVOS.
And this is already very concerning for FTV. As we alluded to earlier, they have drafted themselves into a teamfight composition, and teamfight compositions don't tend to do too well from behind, especially into split push comps, because they can't stop the enemy's side laners. And we saw EVOS in the last game already executing much better on side laning, especially Mia's there, with a way better side lane approach compared to Rika. So they are looking at a very strong Ryze, who's able to almost 1v1 everyone. Then Mias will scale into the game. And they also have a div kit, Biop and Song. Very good trio to disengage if the enemy wants to force 5v5 fights. So, or 5v3, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one thing to note is that Victory does have the CS lead in mid. But it's kind of on the back that Dia has been super active on the map. Much more than you'd really expect from an early game Ryze.
Yeah, even without his ultimate.
Yeah, exactly. Like, typically Ryzes do just want to chill in lane, get some gold under their belt. But he's been super active, not just with his TP, but also just walking around when he needed. And, I mean, I think part of that comes from how strong his wave clear is now. I mean, he always had decent wave clear, but not having to prime the E makes a pretty big difference.
He can fight from farther away now with the new Ryze. He just has to hit E once, and then he can back off and shoot Q from a longer distance, which means he's much safer in lane, and he can push out the lane from farther away, which helps him a lot in the matchups. Look at this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Victory is losing quite heavily. Wow. Crits coming in there.
There was no response there from Victory. There's nothing he could do.
Rika misses every CS there. Oh, man.
Oh, the observers are being cruel to these top laners. Really. They're having a bad day. Victory gets away from that dive there, but Sorn didn't commit anything.
I already liked this game a lot from EVOS. They have changed their approach to the game. The slow, very non-interactive way of playing the first game, where they didn't punish the windows they had in terms of item and champions. Yeah, it looks much different now. Already 3 kills ahead, pushing all their leads, especially in mid and bot lane. Already to take down 2 platings, I think, in the bot lane. So nice early game so far from EVOS. They now have to execute on the later stages of the game.
Yep, they just have to keep it going. Mia so far hasn't really done much. I might have spoken a little bit too soon as he gets away from that eco ult, goes back in, misses the ult, unfortunately.
But he forced Rika's flash, and now Rika has to be very careful in this 1v1 matchup. We already saw if Rika is not able to hit his skill shots, he's very dead in the 1v1. The Akali is able to burst him down, even from behind. 20 CS down.
This is going to be quite... Oh, I think they could have gone for some plates there, but...
No, they want to use the reset timing there to give Mias a better lane state.
I'm also not sure if they had Victory knowledge of which side of the river Victory was on.
Yeah, they could have gotten one plating there.
Corki with packet is scary.
They could have gotten one plating there, but the one plating would have been at the cost of a very bad reset timing for the Akali. So they preferred her to have a better lane state. Because the 160 gold are not really doing that much right now for the Akali. She can't finish her Gunblade. I think if the situation was of the kind where she had needed the 160 gold for the Gunblade finish, I think they would have gone for this very greedy plating. But yeah, no item timing, so they prefer the more defensive, maybe more controlled approach to this play.
So interesting, just looking at the build for Kai'Sa, because there's actually a few different builds you can go on her. She's picked up the BF sword.
It's the old Kai'Sa build. It's not the Manamune Kai'Sa.
I like the Manamune, and wow, Thorn just brazenly.
Oh, look at Div Kid.
Oh my god, Div Kid going huge. Gets the first kill. He's going to go on B, but he's taking a lot of damage. He's actually probably going to die to early.
Oh, he
was destroyed. Oh, he got the trade kill. That's all he wanted. And the Rise Realm Warp is in. Nico ults the grass.
What was that, Rika? What?
He must have been on top of the Rise Realm Warp.
Okay, yeah, that might be true.
Thorn also did go down in the river, I assume, to the...
And 2 platings over to Mias for free. Oh no, this game just ended right there, I have to say.
I want to see what happened in the river here, because Thorn comes in, hits the cocoon, which was good.
Oh,
no, he missed the cocoon.
Yeah, no, super good play by Thorn there. Expecting the ult from police.
Yeah, Div Kid goes forward.
Still on turret, aggro.
He realizes he's dead here. He knows he's dead.
So how does he get the kill? Wow, this interaction is very questionable, I think. This is... Yeah, but the Q and the E went off when he was already lying dead on the ground, so... Not too sure this interaction is supposed to work that way. The Xayah got the kill, I think, 3-4 seconds after dying. Look at the damage!
Rika's just dead. You're dead. Goodbye.
Wow, Thorn has impressed me so much on this game. I have to say I'm a bit of a fanboy for Thorn after seeing him last season, but these 2 games have already re-established my fandom for him. Of course, he looked very great on the Rek'Sai last game, going 4-0 in the early game, and now
got that triple kill.
His Elise plays have been sublime. I think especially waiting for police to use his ult and then having the awareness with the E where he landed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so good. And another point blank cocoon.
Oh, there was a Lux ult that gave so much damage. Yeah, Rika, you had no chance, mate. You're on the wrong side of the tracks.
How did that Lux do so much damage? That was 400 health.
Lux support, God. It's really fair. It's a really fair and balanced pick. Also worth noting with the Lux, it's an airy Lux.
Yeah, I just noticed that as well.
In pro play, we're used to Aftershock, but he's gone airy, so...
It's solo Q Lux.
Yeah.
Look at her items as well. This is a solo Q Lux.
It's Moby boots into a Ludens. Lux support is a fair and balanced pick, and there's absolutely no problems with it whatsoever. Support should be able to do half your health bar with one spell.
I guess so. But yeah, that's the world we live in. But we can kind of already look ahead to the next game. I don't want to call this game over already, but I think the chances for FTV are very slim. And never mind me. There's a play happening.
Yep, and police.
Oh my God.
You might want to call the police, mate, because what just happened wasn't legal.
Yeah, that was a murder. Well, I think he doesn't have any time to call the police there.
He can't dial 000. He's just gone.
The next play.
Setting up onto Rika.
Oh, nicely done.
Nico ult comes out, but it's not going to matter if he wants it. Oh, he shorts the ult there. Bit of a mistake from Mias, but it doesn't even matter. He just kills him. He's going to die. It is a 1-for-1 in the end.
Mias wanted to have a bit of fun in this game. He had to endure the laning phase against the AP Nico, which is really not great. You want to die all the time there. It's not the best feeling in League of Legends. So, yeah, he wanted to have a bit of fun, and in the end, it was a 1-for-1 trade. So whatever, really, let him have some
Yeah,
fun
it's
there.
just a happy trade.
And it's flash for flash as well, which is advantageous for the Akali in almost all stages of the game. Look at the
Yep.
gold lead; it's almost 6k
Dia
there.
behind enemy lines. Guerrilla warfare. Where are you?
The damage.
Just chunking them out.
Oof. Yeah, this game is. I'll call it over right now because this FTV is not coming back in this game. And if they look at the next game, EVOS adjusted the draft a lot. They went for Ryze on this patch. They picked up a much stronger bot lane 2v2, which was the kind of the linchpin in this game so far because they won the bot lane 2v2. Even the 2v3, we have to say. DivKid coming in as well on his Xayah pick here.
Right.
He has played a very good game, so I think EVOS will field him in the next game as well.
I think you'd be crazy not to. I'm not gonna. You've laid down the bold call. That's not really that bold that this game might be over. But I think there's plenty of room still to throw.
There's always room to throw.
Exactly. So it might not be quite over yet, but
look at the
Ryze.
Look at the Ryze. He can do whatever he wants. Look at the damage already. They have strong Baron damage once again in this game with Elise, Ryze, and Xayah. Even Lux will contribute a lot to the Baron, not in terms of damage, but in terms of shielding. It's kind of like having a Sona on your team, because you will always be topped up, with the Lux in the backhand. So very strong Baron for EVOS. Sadly for them, no Mountain Drake so far.
Yeah, unfortunate for them. Ocean will be coming up, which, I mean, the Ocean Drake, I mean, they'll take it because it's an objective. It doesn't really do very much
damage
for them. DivKid takes a lot of damage. Has to use the ult to get away from the Morgana.
Now
wow,
that was really well played.
Clean play. Victory will clean him up in response. It gets the shutdown, so that's actually a good trade for EVOS.
I have to say, I love good Xayah players. Those plays look so good.
Yeah, a good Xayah play is an incredibly crisp thing to watch. That feather management, but
nice awareness with the feathers there.
But that mid lane turret is not long for this world.
And he goes for the 2-item power spike on the Xayah. The build I prefer a lot. I think some players have now made the shift over to this item build, and I think especially combined with the rune choice you go for on Xayah, the lethal tempo, this is the optimal item build. Very strong 2 items. It's 50% crit and already a lot of damage on the Xayah, especially combined with the Infernal Drake. Look at this play again.
Yeah. So you think he's in trouble here?
Yeah, he loses a lot of health.
Overstay a little bit.
5
gets all those feathers
6,
down.
7.
Rika's thinking, I've got a chance. No, you don't, mate. Sit down.
Yeah, 7 feathers there, piercing through him with the E. Very good execution from DivKid. It's still an overextension. It's still a mistake for him because he wasted his flash there, but he turned around the play and made it look really cool. Ryze already critting for 617. Not the best sign for FTV.
Totally fair. Yeah, and I think we're seeing this situation where no one can really stop him in the mid lane. Like, Victory can clear waves, it's a Corki, but he can't 1v1 this Ryze. No. He can't even really.
And he has to be very careful because the Ryze can absolutely chase him down with the face rush and flash available to him. No flash on Victory. He used the flash to catch DivKid there. So, Victory can face him and try to clear waves, but he has to be insanely careful in the 1v1 matchup.
Absolutely. He does have the cleanse, but I feel like by the time you press cleanse, you're already dead.
Yeah. I have one wish for this game now. I want to see the Ryze level 16 full ranked up ult damage on the Q. Because if you missed the patch notes, the ult now gives extra damage to the Q. It's I think 40, 70, 100% extra damage. So if the
Yeah.
Q hits E marked target, you get extra damage on the Q, as you did before, but the passive moved to the ultimate. So you need level 16 to get full damage on the Rise. He's level 13, so it's still a bit away.
Oh, B's just been caught. The Lux binding into the Rise Slam. And B will be looking on in black and white for a little while. Not a lot to say about that. It was just he was CC'd the whole time.
Yeah. And Rise
Yeah.
coming in with a lot of damage.
Yep. They do have a good wave clear here. Victory is
Oh!
really.
Did you see the minimap? They immediately pinged on the Baron, so they want to go for a 20-minute Baron there, and it's already started. As I said before,
Yep.
with the
And
shields from Lux, they don't really lose a whole lot of
nope.
health.
And they don't even know this is happening. And even if they
Yeah, it's
did,
free.
they wouldn't be able to.
It's just gone. Wow. Clean. Very
Kaiser
good call
checks
from
for the
EVOS.
W. Yeah, great call. Really decisive. I think they all knew what was going on there. Mias was still in the bot lane, had the TP if it was needed, but really wasn't. And now that's a wave of Baroned up minions crashing into the bot lane while the rest of the team resets.
I
It was a
want
really good game out of him.
I want to
It's
bring the
fantastic.
attention to something which might sound a bit weird in this game situation, but we have seen 2 games in a row where Mias has outperformed Rika in the side lane and mid game setups for side lanes. Rika won both laning phases, and Mias came back in both games. Very different situations. First game, EVOS obviously was stomped kind of in the later stages of the game from FTV, and this game now is a stomp in EVOS's favor. But in both games, Mia's much better with the minion and side lane management, which will be something we have to look forward to in the third game. Maybe FTV needs to pick even better laners with teamfight capabilities, because their side laning seems to be not on par with EVOS in these series so far.
I think you can go two ways with sorting out this top lane mismatch. You can pick more towards that team fight and try and get Rika something that can go like head to head, or you can just pick a meatball
Yeah,
and
I
just say,
actually think that a
Rika,
tank, I would
you're
really like
having
to
it
see him on a
rough,
tank,
mate.
yeah.
Yeah, let's just stick you on a tank and just say, look, mate, have fun.
3 lane
Build a lot of
approach from
health.
EVOS, really not a whole lot to comment on. Very clean so far with the Baron. Actually think that's one of VCS's biggest strengths. Once teams have secured the Baron, their Baron execution in terms of pushing waves and setting up waves is usually very good, even on the lower T teams. Not to say that EVOS will be a lower T team, obviously. I expect them to be playoff contenders, maybe not title contenders, but playoff contenders at least.
They're looking very good in this game. This has been very one-sided.
Yeah,
More so than I think Game 1 was. I think Game 1 had a
definitely.
little bit more back and forth in the early game.
I think
I
actually
just don't.
game
I
one
don't
was
think.
pretty concerning for EVOS. They didn't look good at all. They were way too passive. So this game is a very good turnaround from game one. Ooh, nice
Ooh,
flash.
just surviving that left, and
Rice.
the snipe comes in, and they're padding the stats, doing a G2, making
Rice
sure they look as
doing
good as
Rice things.
possible.
Oh, that was
The
a very
triple
quick
kill.
game. EVOS
Yep.
making our job very easy in terms of. Never mind me.
In they go.
No one dies.
Did
Very
the
nicely
Hunters
done.
die? The
Uh,
Spiderlings tanked that
yeah,
so
Spiderlings
well. I
and
didn't know
minions
they.
from Rice ult, I think, actually gave them a lot of tanking there. Oh man, EVOS
That's
stomps game 2.
Yeah, and I think I know obviously the kills at the end there don't really matter. They don't say a huge amount, but I do think it's an important mental thing that you kind of because they're going into game 3 now and they're going to be very up on themselves.
Yeah.
I like it. I like seeing it.
Yeah, this game will give them a lot of confidence. And FTV now has to look at ways to contain, especially the bot lane, especially Sorn and the bot lane together, because those 3 really broke open the game. With the very clean Elise plays there, I'd like to see the highlight play from Sorn there again. This play alone, I think, qualifies for MVP contention. I would give it to Sorn in this game because I think his Elise play was incredibly clean. But to be fair, everyone on EVOS performed admirably in this game.
Yeah, I think if I had to pick an MVP, I think it'd be Sorn as well. I think he enabled the rest of his team while also playing very well himself.
Yeah.
Um,
And we
yeah,
already
I
saw
think
a very good Elise performance in Game 1, but this one topped the Game 1 performance even. I think Kurko getting the MVP with Elise officially at the VCS broadcast, so we might see back-to-back Elise MVPs for the junglers, but this time on the other side.
yeah, I think we might see teams thinking about an Elise ban going into Game 3.
Yeah, very
Like
possible.
that's two Elises in a row playing very very well. Remove that,
And it's kind of funny
teams
because
got to find a replacement.
usually teams try to avoid the triple AP topside, but now we saw 2 games in a row, triple AP topside, and still the team winning quite comfortably. So maybe it's not as relevant in this particular series to avoid the triple AP in the top lane. Rika likes
Well,
to
I mean,
play AP anyway, so what do you
when the
expect in
game ends
terms?
at 20,
Sorry,
when the game ends at 22 minutes, you can't build much more.
that is very true.
You don't have time.
What do you expect for Game 3 in terms of pick and bans? Do you think there will be a bit of an
I think
adaptation?
FTV can't play similar to what they just played. I don't think it was good. I don't think the Corki did anything.
No.
He got a couple of kills. Like he picked up that kill on Div Kid, but it was just after Div Kid massively overextended.
Yeah,
And it was still just a 1-for-1.
there are sadly a lot
I
of
feel like,
problems emerging for FTV right now.
yeah, I mean, it's hard to look super in depth at their team comp because who knows, maybe there was a real plan for that team comp, but they never got anything rolling.
Yeah, it was pretty much close your eyes and pray for team fights. I think that was exactly the strategy there.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think we've got to do something about that rise as well.
yeah,
Um,
they banned
you
Syndra
don't
2 times in a row, so I think
you
maybe
don't
give up the Syndra ban and go for Ryze here in this case.
maybe I think that's not a bad decision, but if you're really scared of the Syndra, at least pick something that can bully Rise
Yeah.
in the side lane.
And as I said
Like
before, I think they're in a bit of a dire situation because their bot lane was losing, their mid lane had much smaller impact compared to Dia1. Even though he didn't really lose his lane in the 1v1, Dia1 was able to roam and impact other lanes. And then top lane actually won, but Rika was not able to do anything with his lead though.
it was almost a win based just on matchup though. Like
Yeah,
it was AP Nico into Akali. If Akali wins
I
that,
agree. I agree.
you're really asking a lot of questions at that point.
So now I'm at a bit of a loss for solutions for FTV. Maybe they can surprise us and show us another very clean, very
I mean,
controlled game. But I
they
think
did look good in game one. Like,
yeah, but game 1 and
uh,
game 2 was kind of comparing 2017 meta and 2019 meta, it feels like, because the first one was
oh
very
yeah,
slow, very controlled. The second one, much more in line with what we expect from 2019 meta. And yeah, I expect EVOS to double down on the 2019 meta and go hard in the early game.
I agree. I think it'll be a good game, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure what FTV I should say needs to do. But the one thing I definitely want to pick on is like you need an answer to Rise. If you're not going to ban him, you need an answer
Yeah.
because that Rise, like even if the game had gone on for another 10 minutes, it didn't matter.
And don't give up
Rise
Zaya.
was going to carry it. Yeah, I mean at some point you've got to consider like. I think this is actually one of the interesting things about current league, and I think it's being remedied in the next patch or so. Is there's so many things you have to ban or you want to ban?
I think that's
Like
actually very interesting. If not all OPs can be banned out, but you have to trade the OP picks. And maybe consider letting something through draft to get your hand on something else you really want to play. So I like
yeah,
this kind of state where more than 6 or maybe 5 champions are OP, so they are actually getting through the draft.
yeah, I agree. But yeah, we'll see what happens in about 5 minutes.
Yep. And we're back for game 3 of FTV against EVOS. What can we expect from this third game? We saw two very different games. Slow, steady, controlled in game 1 and an absolute early game stomp in game 2. What are you leaning to every day?
I think so far, I think I give the advantage to EVOS. I think they have looked better overall, even in their loss. They looked a little bit better. MVP for last game going to Div Kid.
Interesting choice, but he had a very good Zaya performance as well.
Yeah, I mean he played very, very well, but I think he also made a couple of just sort of silly mistakes.
Yeah, I think overall Thorn was the better player. Maybe they valued the difference that DivKit brought in bot lane compared to Yulwei a bit higher, which is fair.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I hope he's being played in game 3.
Yeah, I think we saw him sit there on the chair, so I think DivKit will be starting for game 3 as well. I expect a very strong bot lane draft once again from EVOS. I think that's what worked out in game 2 for them. A strong early game jungler coupled with the strong bot lane setup to really blow open the game through bot lane.
Yeah, I think that's a very good decision. I think I want to see something done about Elise. Whether that's do you pick it like do you first pick it?
First
Because
picking
I mean
Elise?
I think Elise has been really good in both games. Like
Yeah, I agree.
I agree. Like first picking it sounds so out there, but so far it's been 2 Nico first picks. I don't think either of the Nikos have been that good.
No. And Nico first pick seems to be not warranted.
Yeah, I feel like the Nico first pick is.
I think we should actually see Zaya first pick, to be honest. I think Zaya is the most impactful champion so far in the series. Even though Elise is also strong.
Like, I'm thinking you almost want to ban Zaya.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe even ban Zaya.
Pick Sivir. I think Sivir can go a little bit easier in lane just because she's pretty safe and can just handshake the lane.
I think it's very interesting that we didn't see any Sivir so far in the first rotation. Sivir, one of the highest priority ADCs. I think overall globally on 9.11. She's actually the most played champ on 139 games. So seeing a bit of a difference here for Vietnamese matter. She was banned away by EVOS in the second game in second rotation, pinching the ADC pool, which proved to be a very good choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, maybe prioritize your bot lane more in first round of draft is what we learned from the first two games. I'm not quite sure if you have to ban Zaya or Sivir away. You can ban either and pick the other. That could be one approach. Look for a very strong early bot lane and jungler, and then flexible solo laners later on in the draft. I don't really see any solo laners being first pick worthy right now after those two games. Aatrox is banned, Aurelia is banned every game.
Yeah, I can't see that changing. I think Aatrox and Aurelia, keeping them on the bench is wise. They're both just sort of ridiculous. Aatrox more so, in my opinion. I think
Aatrox saw a few nerfs in this patch, but they were not too big. He's not quite at the level he was at in 9.11. I still think he's one of the strongest champs in 9.12.
Yeah, he still has 100% pick ban, though it's a much smaller sample size because most regions haven't played 9.12 yet. But I mean, he's definitely much weaker. You can actually dive him now. Like, you can kill him post 6, which is nice. But he is still just pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, I really don't see one of the two champions going through. It's either both or none of them, because Aatrox and Aurelia can cancel each other out. Aurelia hard wins lane and can actually kill him in level 6. So if you let Aatrox through the pick and ban, you should really also have Irelia available to you, so you can counterpick the Aatrox with the Irelia there. If either of the two gets banned, you should definitely ban the other one, and that's what all the teams did, I think, so far. It was Aatrox on one side and Irelia on the other side. No one banned both champions on one side, which is wise, in my opinion.
I agree. I think that's very much what we'll see, and I think that's the correct thing. In other points of pressure is the rise that we were talking about before the break. That either needs to be banned or answered. I don't think you can just do what happened last game and just pick a Corki into it. It's like, yeah, you can clear his waves forever, but you actually need to stop him.
Yeah, he was stronger than I imagined him to be.
He didn't even hit level 16, and the Qs were hitting for like 600 damage.
Yeah.
Which is
maybe look at
a
traditional counters for Ryze, something like the Cassiopeia. I'm personally not the biggest fan of Cassiopeia in this meta because she's not a great roamer. She has a lot of pressure in mid lane and can exert a lot of priority. But yeah, she really can't follow the Ryze. Not quite sure if Cassiopeia is the great choice. What else beat Ryze in lane earlier on? Things like Azir and Vel'Koz especially come to mind. Vel'Koz is one of the Ryze counters.
Yeah, I mean Vel'Koz would be a fun pick, and we could see victory on Azir. He played it well in game one.
Yeah, I don't expect to see the Vel'Koz because it's probably not practiced anywhere. So maybe Azir. It's not like Azir stomps Ryze in lane though, so it's more late game check on the Ryze DPS and denying him entries into the team fights later on. So it's more a team fight counter pick more than a lane counter pick.
Yeah, I mean something like Jace, if it gets through, it's been banned so far, but maybe it gets through and can provide a solid side lane threat.
Yeah.
I think it's difficult. I think Ryze is really strong.
It's actually quite hard to come up with ideas how to counter the Ryze. Not sure if DR1 wants to go back to the Ryze, but he seemed very comfortable, and he had a lot of very good Ryze games last season even. And this Ryze, it is different, but it's not fundamentally different from the old Ryze. So a lot of mechanics are still there. I would like to see another Ryze game for DR1, I have to say.
Yeah, I think I'm leaning towards banning it if I was doing the draft.
And then we can actually see his Syndra and see why they banned Syndra all the time. So that's very good to see for us as well. Is the Syndra actually as scary as FTV thinks it is?
So the interesting thing about the Syndra, in my mind, is that he might be a fantastic Syndra player. I'm sure he is, but Syndra can get ganked early.
Yeah.
Like, it's been early game jungler after early game jungler. Just gank it.
I just thought about the Syndra. Maybe Syndra is actually an option into the Ryze in the mid lane.
Maybe.
Syndra is very strong early game. He's a bit weaker in full all-ins. He has better overall laning because of his wave clear, but full all-ins are weaker because of the lack of the shield, as you just mentioned. So maybe Syndra paired up with your favorite Elise or something like the Rek'Sai. Could be an option.
I mean, I think Elise will feature in this pick ban, almost no doubt.
Yeah, it's very probable.
One team will pick it. I think it's strong. There must be a delay on stage here because we're still not into draft.
It takes a long time. I'm not sure what's going on. We have not seen any information. There seems to be a bit of a delay for FTV. If you look at the faces of the players, a lot of communication going on there.
Interesting that.
Very good for FTV, I have to say. This delay is actually good for FTV because they get to reset their mental state here. Forget about the 22-minute stomp in the previous game.
Yeah. Any extra time to catch their breath and just reset is incredibly valuable for them. But hopefully we do get going soon.
And I think this is Stiff Kid, if I remember correctly. So he is starting in this game, and alongside Year One, very remarkable face there.
Chat calling me out quite correctly. Apparently, if Pigman hasn't started, tech pause doesn't mean you can't talk.
Oh yeah, that's actually true.
Yeah, it's my mistake, and that is right. That makes sense as well, because what are you talking about? Like,
Oh, and we're into pick a ban.
here we go.
Finally. So the delay actually took longer than the last game. I'm very sorry to say that to FTV, but yeah, the pause and delay together were longer than the 22-minute stomp from EVOS. Will we see the same in this game? Not quite sure.
Yeah, I think, I mean, so far, Red Side's won both games, so FTV wins, right? Let's go home. We're done. No, of course not. But it is interesting. I think.
What just happened?
Oh, no. Is there another delay? Oh, no. Has someone spilt water?
No, but there's a no ban.
Oh.
Yeah, I think they have to remake the champion select. EVOS with the no ban. I'm not sure if that was intentional. I suppose not. Maybe they got punished for something.
I don't know.
But as we see the pick and ban overlay once again dissipate, yeah, it's probably another delay happening.
We did get one piece of information. FTV banned Sejuani.
That's true.
So Sejuani won't, well, presumably, because I don't think they'll be forced to ban that again.
I think they'll ban it anyway. Oh, it's actually
we're
going on.
Back in. That was a no ban. That's being carried over. They must have been punished.
Yeah,
for
maybe for. I can't really imagine for anything.
It's possible that they were stalling or something.
Because this was the first no ban. It's nothing prior to the match. Because it wouldn't make sense to give a no ban for the third possible game. So it's something happened between the matches, maybe. I really don't understand this ruling. Oh, Karma now open for EVOS. Was banned in the second game.
Yeah, I mean, interesting to first pick it. That's really high priority on this Karma.
And now we see
gives away that Naya. Also, Syndra is open due to the lack of a ban.
Ooh, and we see the Gragas coming in. Finally open as well. So there is the possibility for the infamous Gragas Yasuo duo on FTV's side.
I wouldn't mind it. I think it'd be a good pick. But Sivir does get picked up here. I like this from EVOS.
Yeah, this is a much more global draft compared to the first two drafts. More globally or favorite picks all over.
Yeah, I think this is good.
Syndra or Ryze? What do you think?
I think you pick. I don't think you need to pick Syndra, do you? Alistar.
Yeah, this Alistar is so. Oh, there's the immediate insta-lock on Yasuo. Nice.
Oh, here we go.
To see the Yasuo.
Get your friends. We've got a cracker of a game on our hands already. It's going to be a bloodbath.
So I want to come back a bit to the Alistar, because obviously if you watched a whole lot of League of Legends throughout the years, Alistar is one of the strongest picks into Sivir, one of the few supports who can completely negate your spell shield. So whenever the Sivir is picked up, we see a lot of Alistar bans, and this time they didn't have the time to ban the Alistar, so they needed to pick up the Alistar, which kind of gives them a very weak lane on EVOS' side, especially if FTV opts into ranged support. Lux once again open, maybe getting banned out now by EVOS. I would like to see a Lux ban. Morgana also very good into Alistar. What do you
think about this Thresh ban?
It's weird. Rakan?
I don't mind. I think the Rakan ban's fine, because you don't want Zyra.
I think Rakan is not that great into Sivir. I think Lux and Morgana are much better picks for FTV right now. So not banning the Lux is kind of...
I don't understand the Thresh ban. Like, I can see the logic of the Rakan ban.
Yeah.
I agree with you that I don't think it was the best ban, but I see the logic. Why are you banning Thresh? I guess he flays Ali back.
Yeah,
but
they had the first game with Thresh Zarya for FTV, and they won the lane pretty heavily. So maybe scared of this combination once again. Police and B played a very good bot lane in game one.
Whoa.
Thorn coming in.
Whoa.
Thorn coming in with one of his special picks. Nice. I like to see. Oh no, please no cannon. Oh,
So
Nico is
if it's
open,
cannon,
right?
it's
Go
gonna be
Nico.
Karma mid.
Nico is better cannon.
Yeah, Nico's gone from first pick to
No pick, not picked.
not pick.
And Nico is a very good pick into FTV's draft. Please pick Nico. Yeah, thank you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah, there was no way they left open the Nico for FTV's comp. Nico into FTV's comp is insane. That's such a good team fight to head up.
Like this Graves pick into Yasuo.
Yeah, it's double ADC with Karma. I think that's the approach from EVOS. Late game team fighting with a lot of movement speed and a lot of damage and disengage.
But
okay.
like surely.
Oh, it's the Camille last pick.
Oh, Camille. I don't know about. Are you seeing the same thing I'm seeing?
Yeah, I think so. We didn't see the pick there.
There's a missing champion.
They'll just field B on the Summoner's Rift, and he has to fight for himself.
Yeah, new champion, everyone. B.
Nice.
Is the last.
Camille into Nico. I have to admit, I'm not too familiar with the matchup. I would still give the advantage over to the Nico by default.
Yep. I'm really. I mean, I haven't seen Graves played in a long time. I love Graves, for the record. I really like it. But into a Yasuo, surely, Graves strolls into a team fight and just, wind wall.
Yeah, it's not great.
Oh, that stops everything I do. Like, literally every ability of Graves except his dash.
What I like about the Graves pick is the much better overall comp setup with the solo lane Karma. Because solo lane Karma kind of relies on another strong carry in another position. So this time they pick AD and a lot of damage in the jungle to be facilitated by the solo lane Karma, which gives them a very good late game approach. This team comp from EVOS looks a bit old, I would say, a bit like in 2018, 2017 team comp. With strong solo laners, but a lot of late game team fighting, and it's a civil comp, so they just want to group.
Yep. I mean, the good thing about EVOS is that they do have the backup plan of, things didn't work out. Well, let's just get Sivir to 400 farm, and she can press W.
And I want to touch on one thing. Did you actually notice what happened to the jungle pool? What champion are we missing in this game?
Elise, just not there.
She's just not picked at all.
I'm sitting here saying, Elise first pick.
Yeah,
the prophet has spoken, and she was not featured.
To be fair, Gragas was open for the first time, so the better AP jungler, I suppose. But
how did Thorn get here?
Not sure. He gets one auto attack and then disengages. Nicely done, Thorn. Nicely done. So I'm really intrigued by FTV's team comp, I have to say. I like their approach to the game. They are probably still the underdogs in this game, but their team comp looks like a very, very well-crafted experiment here.
I like their team comp a lot more.
They have strong lanes and all, and maybe top is not the strongest lane, but all the other lanes are pretty strong. Yasuo, Karma, it's probably a bit in Karma's favor, but mid lane Yasuo should fare better against Karma compared to top lane, I would suppose. Not quite sure about that.
Yeah, I mean, again, Yasuo can wind wall. Yeah. That kind of takes a lot of the bite out of a lot of what Karma wants to do.
Yeah. That being said, I don't think he can wind wall W.
No, you can't wind wall W because it's not a projectile. Yeah. But the Q can still be wind walled. Obviously, the E bit irrelevant, but I think Karma will win the lane in terms of CS.
Yeah, Yasuo will be fine.
but I don't think he cares. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
Slow
kill
mo.
pressure.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot. There's heaps of kill pressure with the jungler.
Yeah. Level 6 is almost immediately a kill, and Tier 1 can't really do anything about that. He has to be very careful, play to the right side of the lane. Wow, look at the bot lane. Oh,
You're
man.
already just getting chunked.
Yeah. That's what happened in the first game, and yeah, we talked about Xayah being a potential first pick, and once again, she's showing why.
Ooh. We do have the aftershock Lux as well.
This time, yeah.
Airy last time, and now it's the aftershock.
Very good choice, I think, into Alistar. There's always the possibility of the Alistar all in, and you have to fear for that. Overall, Alistar not the greatest laner, and we don't really see a whole lot of Alistar anymore. I am not quite sure when I saw the last Alistar being played. We sometimes see Alistar bans, as I alluded to earlier, because of the Sivir counter, but yeah.
Yeah. Also, this is a sub jungler? We didn't even notice.
Oh yeah, it's Meowcon.
Meowcon's
I'm sorry, I've missed that. Yeah, Meowcon and Kuroko kind of trade their first spot all the time. Sometimes it's some weeks Kuroko is preferred, some weeks Meowcon is preferred. I think overall in the last few months Kuroko has played more games, but Meowcon actually came in. Oh, what that thought?
This is aggressive.
A bit early. Wait for level 6, please.
Well, I mean, look at the damage.
Yeah.
I wouldn't complain. Meowcon got the.
But they turn around.
Oh, he's dead. Goodbye. Oh, but who's going to get first blood? Oh,
yeah, now
Graves
Victory.
just gets him. If he trades back though, he's going to kill Sorn here. He's got the win.
Oh,
he's
nicely
got the
done.
win, but he dashes away. But the flash it forward. How long until the dash reset?
Victory, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Go, son.
My God, what's with that?
Now he's got to contend with the TP, but out he goes. Never mind. Oh, but the tether hits. That was really long range. He's gone.
Okay, that was mechanically not the most well-played fight we ever saw. Oh man, Victory actually stepping back there.
I'm not sure why he turned.
Yeah, because he made a big misstep. There was no reason to turn. That was just a really big misstep from Victory there. He still gets 2 kills on the Yasuo.
Yeah, but I don't think he needed to die there.
No.
Oh god, this bot lane is just, it makes me feel dirty to watch.
Yeah, it is really not great for EVOS' side. Okay, look at this again. The W,
So
the
Meowcon gets caught.
most broken ability on Gragas, Grace, I should say, actually getting the first kill.
This is a good dash here from Sorn to dodge that.
What is
Forces the
Victory
flash.
doing here? What?
Misclick.
What?
That has to be a misclick. I don't understand.
I'm not sure I've ever seen something like that in a pro game. What?
Yeah, and as chat very correctly points out, there was a shutdown for Tier 1. They actually came out ahead. And they got first blood. They came out pretty considerably ahead.
I mean, yeah, but on the other side, the champions the kills went on are better for FTV. It's double kill for Yasuo.
I like my Graves with an early kill and my Karma with a blue buff.
While that's true, I still think the Yasuo benefits more from early kills, because usually the Karma would get ahead anyway. She doesn't really need the kill to accelerate herself, so I think the Yasuo profits a whole lot from these 2 kills. That being said, the gold is still very even, and EVOS actually it had 600 gold, so not even at all. I'm sorry for that.
Yeah. The 600 gold this early is... that's a lot. I think some of it's in that top lane matchup, which I don't think we're particularly surprised to see Mia's winning.
We just need to see Nico actually transitioning the lead they get in the solo lanes to the kill, to the game win, I should say. So, so far every Nico has won her lane, but then was not able to do anything with that.
Yeah, you can say like Rika just has to get the XP. He can't really walk up to farm. That's okay. He'll catch up later in the game.
And we've not really talked about the last pick, Camille, so far. What is Camille actually supposed to do in this game? Why was she picked up?
I don't know. Is to single out the Sivir?
Yeah, that's a bit of a... I have a bit of a similar idea, I think. It's to counter the Karma's movement speed, I think, would be where my analysis landed after thinking about it a few seconds. Oh, wow!
Ooh, There's another scrap in the mid lane though. Victory's picked up his 3rd kill.
Oh no.
Ooh,
The Yasuo
no.
is
This is the
going off.
Yasuo. This is the Yasuo on the other team when
Mm-hmm.
you're on solo queue. This is not your team's Yasuo.
And he's ahead in the CS as well. Karma once again not looking too hot. So yeah, the Camille is able to lock down a target even though Karma is the queen of disengage. So maybe try to lock down one of the few carries. And maybe not Sivir because she can spell shield that, but there's still the One and Sorn and Mia as you can go on. So this is actually a team fight, Camille, in my opinion. Not so much focused on side laning. I'm not too certain Camille will hit a point where she can actually 1v1 kill the Nico too soon. So I really think this is a team fight, Camille. Very interesting approach to this champion.
I don't actually think Sivir really can do much with the spell shield.
No?
Because I feel like you have to spell shield the hook shot, right? Because
okay, yeah, that's a good point.
Spell shield that, and then she Hextech ultimatums you. If you don't spell shield the hook shot, well, you just have a Camille.
Oh, and there's another fight happening bot.
Oh, there is a scrap going bot. That's just a Lux being caught out. B just gets blown up in the wrong place at the wrong time. Just caught clearing vision. That was really well done by Sorn, being on the right side of the map.
Yeah, B quite clearly overestimating his own safety there. And now, first Dragon, Ocean Drake in the early game going over to EVOS. Very good, especially for their 2 mage solo laners who like to have a bit more mana regeneration there.
Yep, that's very good.
And Sorn has been accelerated.
Sorn so far is doing pretty well.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought as well. Do you have, are you a bit of an expert on Graves? I actually have no idea what he's going for in terms of items right now. Why is he building attack speed?
Because it makes you reload faster. Police just,
yeah, exactly. That's everything we can say to that. Biop uses his ult.
I think he saw the Gragas getting close and was just...
Man, I think both teams are showing quite a bit of nerves here in this 3rd game. It's the first game of the season in VCS, and both teams want to start with a win. Especially on FTV's side, it would be huge if they got this first win. And with only, I think, 14 series played, every series is very important. Last season, the breakpoint for playoffs, as only 4 teams get to playoffs, was 7 or 8 victories. So even EVOS needs to get this victory to have better chances at securing the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean every win counts, and getting off to a good start is very important to your confidence, as much as it's important to the actual standings. So far, the Graves build so far is pretty stock.
Wait a moment. Where did his okay, in the boots. I'm sorry. Yeah. I spaced out there. So attack speed boots. That's standard for Graves. I have no idea what Graves have to say.
Typically on Graves, you go lethality early. You go the Yomu's into
that's what
Duskblade. You can flex the Duskblade into a Zeal item. Because attack speed makes you reload faster.
Oh yeah, okay.
So it's obviously pretty important to get more shots out. But yeah, I think considering he's got a longsword in the pocket,
he's probably going
for
the yeah. Oh, and there might be another fight emerging here. EVOS should know where everyone is.
There's a TP here. Both junglers are here. There's the knockup, but way out of range for the Yasuo. That's a huge knockup there.
Ow! Look at Mia's.
The Herald goes over to FTV, but the kills are going back the other way. Never mind. Rika going big there. Dives into the back line. Just gets cleaned up. He gets the double, but he broke the tether. He might get away. Nope.
Very messy fight, but I think Mia's has to be the MVP there. Very good Nico play. Denies the entry of Victory with the early root on both Meocon and Victory. And then strong flash ultimate in the backline as well. Very good team fighting out of the AP Nico without any items really. So she will only get stronger. And now the first big lead in the game goes over to EVOS. They will profit with more turret platings, maybe even going for the first turret in the top lane. Shouldn't be enough time, I think.
I think they've got plenty of time, especially with 2 auto attackers. Graves at this point is
but the
not
last
exactly
turret plating is very hard to kill.
True, and I think they'll back off once they see victory.
So 2 platings going over, exactly as much as you get through the Rift Hold. So Rift Hold not doing too much for FTV, actually getting them far behind in this game, already looking at almost 3k gold. And they have a strong Yasuo with already a finished Phantom Dancer, but nothing else really. Xayah is good.
Interesting that he's gone for the Phantom Dancer. The more common item is the Static Shiv.
Yeah. More damage, stronger wave clear.
Nothing. Yeah, but the big reason that you go to Phantom Dancer, and actually it's why I quite like it, is that it's better against you being focused.
Yeah, and it's overall, I think, the better team fighting item. I think overall, let's look at the fight first before we talk about the itemization. Yeah. So, Victory actually was not stunned there, but he was not in range. Interesting. I thought he was stunned there. And then Mia's flash ult in the backline. Biob dying in the meantime, but Mia's really exerting his pressure there on the enemy ADC. And please don't. Oh, that flash from DR1. Wow. That was something else. I really don't understand his flash there.
Is his face okay? I think one of the big things there is police didn't participate in that fight. So it was just a 3v5. And also, it was pretty much a 3v5 because B did nothing. B got Nico rooted, then knocked up by Ali, and then he was dead.
Yeah, the fight was lost the moment Yasuo was not able to follow on Miokon's ult. And they still didn't disengage there. So, it was hard to disengage, to be fair to them. Was that? No, it was not the first turret. So, a bit of an ill-advised choice to fight there for FTV, especially because they were a 4v5. And one of the few... once again, Divkit goes down. Not his greatest game here.
Bold TP. I don't think cancelling that TP was correct. I think
you can't cancel it anymore. I think it was cancelled by the enemy.
It got cancelled by the enemy team.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, sorry.
What I'm saying is I think...
Wow, 2v2 once again going in EVOS' favor. But the bot lane, look at the bot lane. Oh no. EVOS, what are you doing?
Exactly. They just didn't respond. That, sort of, I know we sort of ignored that 2v2 that sort of just was FTV overextending a little bit and getting caught. But that TP was coming in and... they were TPing to a tower that was surrounded by 3 members of FTV.
Oh, look at the damage from Sorn.
Oh my god, Sorn. He's got 5 kills.
He has 5 kills right now.
I didn't notice that. I didn't notice he was getting
I think every kill in the last few minutes went over to Sorn on the side of EVOS. So now he's a very fat Graves. And there's only really 2 states of Graves. Either fat Graves or losing Graves. And this Graves looks like a very strong one in this game. So Divkit, what are you doing right? Oh, nicely done by Miyokon. Wow, that was really well played. Using the smite there to activate the spell shield, and then E lands free kill on the Sivir. Once again going down on Divkit's side. Not his greatest game. His first was much better.
No.
But still 3k gold lead from EVOS, especially from top side. Look at top and jungle from EVOS. That's scary.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to see Sorn really be a centerpiece of this team. It's easy to say that EVOS is far ahead because they do have a 5-1 Graves, but FTV is certainly not out of this. No. Not even close.
It's a very hard map split. Top side is insanely strong for EVOS, bottom side much stronger for FTV. Not as much stronger as the top side for EVOS is, so EVOS should have the easier path to victory, utilizing their now 2 item Graves. Oh, look at this, already finishing his second Serrated Dirk. So he sits on 29 lethality, if I did the math correctly.
I think you have.
29 lethality already at 17 minutes is very scary. Now, what is EVOS
This is
doing?
an
EVOS.
in-him tower being pushed down. Where's the response from EVOS?
No, backport coming in.
There's a flank coming in on mid. They want this fight onto Police at B. Sorn goes in, does a lot of damage, but Police just gets out with the ult.
That was very well played by Police. Very cautiously using his
damage
cooldowns.
doesn't do enough.
Yep. Now Miocon
Ooh.
might get caught out. Nice slow from Mias.
Oh, good dodge by Sorn.
Mias once again flashing in for the ult. Second time he has done this. Fourth kill now for Mias, I should say. Very strong Nico performance. The first Nico that's really looking like a strong Nico. And funnily enough, this was the first Nico that was not first picked.
Yeah.
And this one is the Nico that goes off.
Question for you.
Flash.
Oh, never mind. As Deer goes in, Police has got to be dead here, surely. Gets knocked up, will get finished off by Sorn. Sorn gets 2. That's a 7-kill grade.
That damage from Sorn. My god.
Sorry, I'm just going to make the really obvious joke here. He's out here digging graves.
Yeah. Indeed. Indeed he is.
Question for you, though. What does that sheen go into on Miocon?
Excuse me? Why is there sheen on his inventory?
Where does that sheen go?
Yeah, it's a... Oh.
That frozen fist?
No, I think
Sorn should be going down here, but look at that shield! Look at that shield! Look at the damage! He gets a kill!
Nicely done by Victory. Getting out and 1000 gold shut down, which will bring him to his Infinity Edge in just a few minutes. The last hope for FTV to win this series. They are now behind 6k gold, but at least they will have a 100% crit Yasuo. And there's always a world where Yasuo wins the whole game for you. So, last hope for FTV coming in from their mid laner. Yeah, I think it's a Lich Bane actually for Miocon.
I mean, there's only so many options. Lich Bane, Triforce, Gauntlet.
Yeah, I think it's a Lich Bane just to amplify burst damage as well as go for sneaky split push plays. I think he's actually looking to sneak into the base and maybe get this inhibitor using the Lich Bane, or maybe grouping up with a Victory once again to go for another push in the top lane, as they did before in the bottom lane. So, kind of understand his choice, but it's a very expensive item for a jungler, and he's still very far away from the completion. So right now, Miocon is not that useful.
Yeah, it's really bold, and you don't get your Morellos, like you don't get your penetration. That kind of sucks.
Biop.
Biop. Hello. Also, he's running Hex Flash.
Yeah, obviously, every Alistair always runs Hex Flash. It's just for the. I don't know. Sometimes it's just for fun, because you can make a lot of cool plays, but on Alistair I think it's warranted, because flanking Alistair using his Hex Flash is something that might happen.
True. I don't see very much Alistair.
No, Alistair's not in meta right now. He's only a silver counter pick, and that's why they lost the spot lane so hard, because Alistair's not a great laner, and they picked the Alistair to deter the FTV Alistair grab against Sivir, but to be fair, I think if they let the Alistair through, and then picked up something like a Lux, I should say.
Ooh, Rika's in some trouble here. I don't know what the
cooldown
on
is here. Look at Sorn's damage.
Ooh, but that's a lot of distance on that hook shot. Whoa, collateral damage nearly picks him up.
Oof.
Just does manage to walk away.
Rika gets out.
That's full bot side control. That's bot side control and another Drake.
Another Drake.
Yep, they're collecting the set.
And this time their Baron is a very interesting case. What was that animation? I'm not quite sure where that came from. But they have decent Baron damage, and they have insanely good Baron defense. What I mean by Baron defense is they can kick out the jungler with the Alistair. Alistair is one of the best Baron champs in the game, because he can guard your Baron secure. So I really would like to see EVOS go for an early Baron, I should say, and look for Alistair to kick out Miocon and secure the first Baron of the game.
Yep.
And they're already
it
clearing
is
out
the
the
full
version.
lethality. It is the full lethality from Thorn. Not a surprise when he's got 9 kills.
Oh no. Oh, police, don't step too far forward.
Yeah, police. If you take one step too far,
Yeah, he's just bursting you down.
you're just gone in an instant. Luxalt used to check Baron.
Yeah, you can see
Sorry,
they're
B.
very desperate already. They don't have any control over their jungle, especially not close to Baron. So now they're really cautious. Luckily for them, EVOS seems to be a bit hesitant around the Baron, and once again giving up a lot of control over the Baron pit. No one is close to the Baron to defend their vision line. Once again, not the cleanest vision play from EVOS. Like they showed in game 1, they still have to work a lot on their vision control.
Yeah. Thankfully, I think it's so scary for FTV to step into any fog, because there could be a Thorn. You just don't have much of a chance. I think FTV, they're 5.5k gold down, which isn't insurmountable. The Baron is started. The big thing here is, can we get a Gragas Yasuo combo?
Yeah, and
They pull off Baron.
they only used Baron as a device to draw in members, and they are successful. Very nicely done.
Yep, victory's gone, and that's half of that potentially game-winning combo, and now the other half is gone. Collateral damage.
And now
takes
Baron is
down
absolutely free. Nothing to do for FTV here.
Yep. This is Baron for EVOS,
And
no question.
There's still a lot of disconnect on FTV's side happening, I think. Why are Meocon Victory this far forward when their bot lane is in base? That's really not what you're supposed to do. Yasuo and Gragas are an insane strong combination, but 2v5 will not work in this state of the game. So use your or 4v4. Use your 4v4 capabilities. Police is actually sitting on 2 items, so he's very strong right now. So don't understand the approach from FTV there, and they will lose the Baron and probably the game off of this. So Victory is spotted.
I think,
yeah, Victory is just spotted there.
Yeah, he's just standing on wards and he just dies.
Yeah, not respecting the vision. And Meocon once again showing very weird plays. What was that flash? He flashed on the wall for absolutely nothing. That was interesting to see.
We're still playing the puzzle of what's the Sheen for. I don't think that was a good pickup. Hasn't done much.
No.
This is
overall, Meocon has not looked any better than Kuroko. So far, not really showing why they subbed him in this third game. Kuroko with strong performances in the first 2 games, especially in the first one where he got the MVP.
Yeah, it's a very interesting decision to me to swap the jungler out. I don't think Kuroko played badly at all.
Yeah, I think I didn't get to talk about that before, but they actually subbed him out in the 5th game of their qualification match. So FTV had to play in the promotion, and they were in the last possible best of 5 to qualify for VCS again. 2-2, and Kuroko played all 4 matches before, and they subbed in Meocon for the last game. Very interesting decision. So it seems like Meocon is a bit of the more cautious, maybe more controlled, more cool voice. That's probably the reason why they sub in their secondary jungler. Has not paid off in this game, though.
No, it really hasn't, and he really needs to start having more of an impact, because
I think it's
again,
late.
I think the way they.
What is he supposed to do anymore in this game?
Well, he just has to hit an ult, right? He has to set victory up.
I think actually, just hitting an ult is not enough anymore. The Gragas Yasuo is not strong enough to win the team fight just by themselves.
Oh no, certainly not. But it potentially by like.
That was not a good showing from me.
No, that was a really bad play there.
You went AFK for a minute there, just standing still and getting called out by the Alistar. Not quite sure what that was.
Yep,
Oh no.
Trying to get Thorn here is... Oh, they get him.
Successful, but they have already lost 2 inhibitors.
Yeah, but they killed the Graves. So,
Does it really matter
You
though?
know?
Nicely done.
Oh, what a snipe from there. Yeah, this game's over. This is actually just going to be the end push.
Oh,
Um,
as you say that,
ooh,
they lose the
never
karma.
mind.
Oh, well,
Yeah, but now their Thivia gets to hit them. Thivia
look
is
at
free
the
hitting. Thivia is free hitting. Big Yasuo ult, but it
victory with
doesn't
the
matter.
last hurrah, but it's not doing anything for them. Miracon could feed once again, but he decides against it. So his scoreline is sitting at 0, 6, and 6, I think. Nice equilibrium there between death and
Yeah.
assists. And in the end, quite convincing game in this one as well. Not quite as stompy as the second game, but still pretty much in favor of EVOS all through the game. Bot lane struggled a lot, but their top side outperformed FTVs heavily and were able to come away with the victory.
Yeah, it wasn't quite as stompy as game 2, but I feel like that's almost just because so many kills went onto Sorn.
Yeah.
So it was such a focused gold lead. Very well played by EVOS. I think they showed that game 1 was just a hiccup.
Yeah, a lot of nerfs in game 1, I think, is still showing. And DivKit coming in changed a lot of how they played as overall as a team. I'm not quite sure if this actually has to be attributed to DivKit. Maybe he's a part of the shot calling in these games, but they played a lot more proactively, a lot more aggressively. Maybe it's the other way around, and No Way actually brings a lot of calming voice, and that did not help them in game 1. I think looking at the next few series, they should probably start DivKit in favor of No Way. So kind of proving
I think
himself to be the better ADC, even though the last game was not the greatest.
Yeah, DivKid in that last game, he did get that triple kill at the end, but that was sort of just grabbing meaningless kills. But I don't feel like he had much of an opportunity.
And
That
he got
game,
caught
bot lane,
out quite a few times on the server.
I suppose. But yeah, I think he should be the starting ADC based purely on this series.
Yeah, it's only one game for No Way, so maybe that's not quite fair, as he gets interviewed right now. But yep, maybe start DivKit, see how he does in the first game, and maybe sub No Way back in the same position, so you give equal opportunities to both ADCs, because sometimes it's easier to come from the back lines, come into the second game, refresh the mentality of all your teammates, and get the game going. So yes, maybe we have to give No Way a bit of leeway there as well.
Yeah.
Once again, I'd like to ask for your MVP. I think it's quite obvious in this game.
Oh, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities. Sorn had a terrible game. It's definitely not him.
Yeah.
Should have had 20. No, I think very obvious for that last game. Sorn.
I want to give a very big nod over to his top laner. I think Mias stepped up a lot in this last game, and he was the first Nico that was actually had a big impact, playing a much better Nico than his mid laner and the enemy top laner. So he won the lane, which is a given on Nico, but then he transitioned it over to the team fights, caught out a few members with a slow and utility build. So a really big appreciation and not over to Mias, but the MVP has to go to Sorn. Second MVP from us today, so he's leading the leaderboards.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. He had a good series. He had a great series.
Yeah, showing that he still got it on this new team. Dia 1, our other player, wanted to focus on a bit, because it's his second split and he wants to make a name as one of the best mid laners, maybe carry his team to Worlds. Had a bit of a quiet series, I think. First game was not great on Nico, not terrible either. Second game on Ryze was a very good one. And the third one, Karma was Karma. He shielded people.
Yeah, I mean that's what you're meant to do, though. Like,
fair enough. Fair enough.
That's what you want from your Karma, right? Like you're not really asking your Karma to carry in terms of damage.
Yeah. But they choose to actually give the more carry-oriented champ over to their top laner, their new top laner in Mias instead of their already established mid laner DR1, which is a bit of an interesting choice. So trusting in the new blood in Mias, which is a very
Yeah.
good sign as well going forward.
Yeah, that's very true.
So disregarding game
It's
one, I think we saw a very good EVOS already. I liked their what they showed us in game 2 and 3.
yeah, I agree. I think game one, they might have been caught a little bit off guard by the way it was being played. That very defensive game style might have sort of had them a little bit unawares, but I think game 2 and 3 showed that they were absolutely the better team on the day,
Yeah.
and they played really well.
Yeah, deservedly taking away the victory, and it's on FTV's side not the worst showing either. They are supposed to be a bottom tier team. They are not supposed to win against EVOS. Obviously, they want to win against everyone, but they still took a game off of EVOS, the second place team on Spring. So already showing a bit of improvement and starting the season off quite well for their level, I would say.
Yeah, I think it was a very emphatic entry to the season.
Sadly for them, the biggest strengths they showed were in the macro department, I think, in game one, where they, especially when it comes to vision game, they look quite good around the Baron. But their laning
Yeah.
is still lacking a bit, and improving your laning is not the easiest. So looking forward, that is maybe already not the greatest sign for FTV, as they lost a lot of lanes, especially in the top lane. Mid lane victory was fine most of the time, but yeah, bot lane was very matchup dependent. Sorn obviously getting the official MVP as well in this game. No big surprise there, 10-3 and 6.
Yeah, it's just a ridiculous game. Pulling out such a off-meta jungler and just dominating. What else can you say?
Yeah.
If the MVP had got anywhere else, it'd be a travesty.
Yeah, and I think if you had to assign a serious MVP, Sorn would have gotten the serious MVP as well, showing a very good first series on his new team in EVOS.
I agree.
So I think we'll hit a bit of a pause now. The next game will start. Oh, it's actually only 15 minutes. I'm not quite sure if the VCS will slot in a bit of a longer pause here, because this first series took so long. But we will be back with a second series between Fengwu, not Fengwu anymore, I'm sorry, Dashing Buffalo, and the new team QTV Gaming.
Exciting. Should be a good series.
Oh, it's 26 minutes. So see you in almost half an hour, 26 minutes. We'll be back. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys in a few minutes.